funny too. I don't know why we get quiet before we go on. It's the fucking radio, man. Oh yeah, baby. What does that say?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Guess
Hey, buddy.
what? Hold on. I clearly do not have my act together today.
I was clearly jacking around
God.
over here. What the heck?
It's midterms week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, so
You know, you're
next
generally
week is
pretty
spring week.
unflappable, but you look flapped.
I'm a little,
Why are you sitting down?
yeah, and no,
Because
he's
it's comfortable,
relaxing.
and I'm drinking a cup of coffee, and I'm relaxing.
I'm relaxing.
I'm relaxing,
just
and I
chilling
want to create.
Like a villain.
You two can talk over me.
Oh, nice.
You see what I mean? Then
Very
we're
nice.
see, and look what we're doing on the feed here.
Oh, you're
On the
brilliant.
feed, we have dynamics
So
now. Hold on.
Right.
Let's see. We get that down,
Yeah.
and now we can see Heather.
Whoa,
Oh,
nicely
See?
done.
So that way people
What
aren't
would we
tuning
do
in.
without you?
What would we do
Oh
without
my
you?
gosh.
I don't
I
know
can't
what we
even
would do.
hear.
Well, now people can tune in to the web feed, and they're not going to be like, oh, I just watched their backs for 3 hours.
Right?
Right.
Just watched them stand around and.
And couldn't see
Shuffle
when
back and forth.
they were talking to Heather. Yeah.
So we were arguing about Garth Brooks.
Yeah,
Yes,
we are.
were,
I don't
because
know who
I was on
we
the
is.
train with some two women who were, I think, a little schnackerfilled
Oh yeah.
with their
they're going to a
cowboy hats, and
Garth
they're like,
Brooks
"We're going to Garth Brooks, yeah!" And I was like, "Sweet."
Sounds good.
Well, he hasn't been through town in a while.
Yeah. No, he hasn't been through town in like 13 years. I heard that on the radio today while I was
Wow.
jamming out to some Garth Brooks, just so you know.
Did you love my comment?
Did
He's
you like
a
my
national
Did you like
treasure?
my bowl that
Well,
was supposed
yeah.
to equate a cowboy?
I said
love
he is a
that.
national treasure, and Stacey says, "Oh, you're right. He is a treasure. Let's bury him." Well, no. Here's the truth. Garth Brooks is he's like the Britney Spears of the Bible Belt.
I can
He's-
see that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a pop icon.
But I
and-
think
and-
she's a tool too.
Well, I am a huge
Oh, I don't.
country music fan. And
So am I.
I don't consider Garth Brooks to be country music. I consider him to be pop. But I'm still a big fan. I love his music. I grew up on it, and I have a story to tell you
Okay.
that will make you fall in love with Garth Brooks.
Okay.
Because it is the
Okay,
sweetest
hold on.
thing.
This is the thing. You know this will pull at my heartstrings if he gave something away, did something extra kind for someone.
This is
something
Daymaker.
super generous.
This is
I'll
some
eat that
celebrity-
ship up.
This is some celebrity Daymaker
Okay.
stuff. Okay. So you know my drummer Ty
Uh-huh.
and his new wife Jessie.
Yep.
Okay. Now Jessie's father runs a print company.
Okay.
The print company that he works for.
Yeah, I just realized why you really did that, so you could see if Heather makes faces at you behind your back.
I'm watching you. No. So Garth Brooks, when he was doing his residency at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas,
Okay.
would have charity events, and he would invite all the people that help him out and whatnot. And some of the people that he invited out was the people that were company. And
Okay.
Garth Brooks is tight with the family, and so Ty and Jessie, they go out and. AC/DC, and Garth Brooks comes over and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing? You like AC/DC? Right on, man. I
I'm
like
sure
him
he
a lot."
talked just like that
Yeah.
too. Like,
Talked to him a
"Hey,
lot about-
how's it going, brother?
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. I'm Garth Brooks. Right on. And shook his hand and talked to him and said, "Well, best of luck to you in your music career." Da, 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 da. Well, between when Ty and Jessie initially started dating and now that they're married, there was a period of time where they broke up,
Okay.
and Jessie was absolutely heartbroken.
Aw.
She was devastated beyond all repair. She was horribly depressed and was really bummed out.
Okay.
one day-
between you and me, who should be more bummed if they break up? Should Ty be more bummed or Jessie be more
Well,
bummed? Or is it
Ty
equal?
broke up with her,
No, but
so
I
she
mean,
was bummed.
who should be more bummed? Like who's the better of the two? Who gets who?
Oh, geez.
I don't know.
The bigger prize.
Jessie is a hell of a woman. She takes care of Ty. She takes care of all those around him. But Ty is lugging around a fire hydrant in his pants. So,
Ah,
Oh,
nice.
my.
I'm like a wild African water boy.
So yeah. But anyway,
Sorry.
so Jessie is totally inconsolably
So
depressed
random.
and sad, and the phone rings, and she picks it up. She's like, "Hello," and on the other end of the line, she hears, "Hey Jessie, this is Garth Brooks. I heard your boyfriend broke up with you, and I just wanted to call and tell you that everything's going to work out just fine. There's plenty of fish in the ocean. You're an amazing woman. You're going to be nice with you," and da 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 da, and totally consoles her. And she's just like, "Thank you, Garth Brooks."
Is it her family's that does the printing or his?
Her family.
Oh, I thought it was his family. I'm like, wow, that's even cooler than it was his
No, no.
family, and he skipped the middleman. And
Yeah.
no, oh, her family.
Yeah.
That
That's
is really cool.
Yeah.
And then why did she get back together with him?
He saw the error of his ways.
Did he? What
Yeah.
was it?
Well, he was a young guy and thought he wanted freedom and thought he wanted. I don't
The
know.
grass was
I'm not
greener
gonna.
on the other
He thought the
side,
grass was greener, and then he
and they
realized
realized that
she was.
that
the
unless,
She was
you-
amazing.
that unless you're the lead singer of a band, you're not getting as much poontang.
I don't know. Drummers are dumb, but they have endurance.
Yeah, well, Heather had a crush on drummer,
Hold-
and that
No,
I
time
set
out.
this up.
Hold on. Let me just explain something. Heather
Aaron
didn't-
doesn't know this story.
Aaron, I'm gonna tell you the full story, not the Stacy version of the story.
Right.
So we went. You missed
So
out
she's not going to
because
tell
you
you
were.
the truth.
No, I'm gonna tell you the truth. The bullshit. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you exactly.
Tell me the truth. Lay it on
Because
me.
you were in California while we went to Johnny Cash. Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Not the
yeah.
real Johnny Cash.
No,
the
the
Rihanna, of course.
They were fun.
Yeah, they were good. So we are, and you know how I joke around and act like a jackass sometimes. However, can sometimes be serious. So we're having a great time, and here is exactly how the conversation went. We were like, I wonder what these guys' real jobs are. And so we were like, oh, the lead singer, he's probably an auctioneer because he's like,
Yeah.
The guy who plays the bass, he's probably like an IT guy or something.
He could do some
And-
cool stuff with his
right.
bass.
And then the drummer and I said, he's probably going to be the doctor of my vagina. She said, that's exactly what so
Uh-huh.
that is the exact conversation. I was like, man, he's cute. And that's what I said, not, ooh, yeah. Stacey's like, I'm going to give him your number. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
He lives in
First of all-
Bozeman, Montana. He's here for one night. She
He
can show
might be
him
a
around.
crazy person.
Yeah, show him around.
I'll
Let me
Yeah, I'm
let
not
me
gonna
tell you how many
show
times
him
I've
to
hooked
my-
up with girls on my one night in town, and
Yeah.
they showed me around.
Yeah, that's
we
what
went-
I'm
That's
oh,
not
talking
going to
about.
happen.
Yeah,
No.
we went to the Golden Gate Bridge.
No.
we
There's no
went to
Golden Gate
Alcatraz.
Bridge here. He's not going to get into this Golden Gate Bridge.
You wouldn't bone a guy on his one night in town. You
No,
wouldn't
I
sleep
wouldn't.
with a musician
No.
on tour.
No.
I had a
That's
whole
just
band
selfish.
stay at
No.
my house.
I'm not.
Once-
Did you say that's just
That's
selfish?
just selfish. guys on the road.
I'm sorry.
It's the loneliest existence.
I'm
because
sorry.
women-
he can find some other girl
Women
to
think
like.
we go out on
So-
the road to entertain people, and we're so alone, and we're
Oh,
so
bullshit.
vilified, and it's
Oh,
just like, oh, I don't want to hook up with you because then everybody in town will think I'm a slut, and I'm not a groupie, and da 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 da.
Well,
and it's-
first of
So
all,
we just go from town to town with cocks drier than the Sahara Desert,
Awesome. That
Just-
was awesome.
just with
But-
a road runner getting chased by a coyote
I'm
on
sorry
an Acme
about
rocket
that.
across
I'm
my
sorry.
pecker.
Well, and
But-
here, okay, so
So-
hold on. I'm going to interject, may I?
Yes.
Okay, he looked like a really, and I have great intuition. I do. I have great intuition. He looked, and I don't mean just by how somebody looks, like judge a book by their cover in that way, because like I
that's
can
what
see,
was happening.
but I could see like a black kid in a hoodie, and I can tell you if the kid's a good kid. I can, and he can look. Everybody else could think he looks like a felon, and I think he's great. Okay, so with that said,
You are a good judge of character.
I am, and he looked like just a big teddy bear. He looked
Yeah.
like he's a
But-
fly fishing teddy bear
Hold on.
that lives in
No.
Bozeman,
Nobody
Montana.
got. By the
Yes.
way, nobody got a bad read on Ted Bundy. Everybody thought that he was just the best.
Right.
I wouldn't have. I'm serious.
So,
Not me.
Not me.
not me.
No, I'm serious.
So-
People that people love, like there's a dude that's an acupuncturist that was in my that sat in on one of my classes this semester or this last semester, and Everyone loved him except for me and this other chick. And she would totally try. And everybody, they're like, I don't understand why you don't like Bill. And I'm like, I don't understand either. I don't get it.
So
I just know I
And
don't.
he turned out to be what?
He still
weirdo,
is a tool.
probably.
He's just a tool. He's a selfish tool.
So here's
Just like
how it panned out.
Okay, yeah. How did it pan out?
She decided that it was okay to give this dude my number and then forced me to go talk to him. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this isn't uncomfortable at all. Not at all. Because here's the thing is, you know me, I'm not shy.
You're not shy.
No, but when something is being jammed down my throat, literally, yeah.
Pun intended.
That's right.
She didn't. Wait,
Yeah.
Stacy, how hard did you push this poor girl?
No.
Get on it. Get on the damn
This is the
thing.
This is the thing. She comes on here, complains that she never gets a date. I literally
Okay, come
set
on.
it up.
No, hold on though. Seriously, if you're gonna set up a date, do it like a real fucking date. Like, come on. Like, I'm not gonna go hang out with a random person who's just
What do you
like.
think a date is?
No,
Right.
no, hold on. Like, I'm not gonna go hang out with some random stranger that you don't even know. He could be some fucking like villain that you have
And what's wrong with felons?
zero.
Case
Nothing.
in point.
Nothing.
Aw.
But
Yeah,
you
what's
know
the matter?
nothing about him. Zero. Nothing.
None
None of us knew anything about him. We knew that he was cute and he could play
I
badass
know,
drums.
but like if
That was
if
it.
he would have been
That's
in town
all.
until the next day, called you and said, "Do you want to go bowling?" You're not going to get raped going bowling if you met him going bowling,
I'll
or if
tell
you
you
met him for
something.
coffee.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Some
but
of the
that's
best
not-
experiences I've had have been what I like to call flash romances on the road.
Yeah, but see, but
Meet someone.
that may be the difference between you guys and me. That's
Right.
probably
That's not too
Okay.
bad.
no,
That's
it's
cool.
not. It is absolutely not.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
And so then I went over, I'm like, hey, hi, I'm Heather. My friend Stacy just gives my number out to random fucking people.
See, but that
This
was the
isn't
thing.
awkward or anything.
No,
And it was super duper awkward.
it wouldn't have been.
And fortunately, Keenan was there to bail me out.
Well, here was the
Keenan, who
thing.
knows me really well, knew that it was a really awkward situation. It was not a
Wow.
good situation for me.
So, and I won't do it again. Lesson learned. But hold on, listen to this. This is honestly, it didn't have to be awkward. The guy was a nice guy. And I said, hey, one of my girlfriends, thinks
Said she wants you to be the doctor.
Yeah.
No, of
Her
her vagina.
vagina.
I did
No,
not say
she's
that.
she just left her gynecologist.
And literally said,
She really needs
it's
a
a
pap
new one.
smear.
Yeah.
Bad. She said he can handle the drums.
I
know,
think
What do
the
doctors know anyway?
forceps would be
Yeah.
right up his alley.
I just
Yeah.
think, maybe you seem to have some latent talents. I think maybe you've chosen the wrong path in life. I don't think you were born to be a drummer. You were born
To be a
to be a
doctor,
healer of
vagina
the
doctor.
vajay.
That's right,
JJ.
yeah.
Okay.
A
So-
healer of the vajay.
So I didn't just go, I really did. I like laid it out in a good way. I said, hey, you guys were really great tonight, sort of, and I said, hey, one of my girlfriends, she's really cute. You know what I mean? She thinks you're cute too. Are you guys in town? And he's like, yeah, for another night. And I said, do you mind if I give you her phone number? And he was like, he's kind of a shy guy. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. Instead, she comes up and acts like she would never go out with him in a million years.
No.
Oh, poor guy.
No, hold on.
Oh,
No.
he broke his
Let's-
heart.
I did not.
You didn't open it up for him
No,
to...
you're right. I didn't because I was like, well, that's a fact. I was not going to go out with some random stranger.
His whole solo album is
Aw.
just going to be about rejection.
See, I think that would
I
be
know.
fun. I would
I
love
know.
that.
Yeah, but see, there's the difference.
That's your
between-
personality.
That's right.
Yeah,
You
but you're
nailed
as
it.
outgoing as I
Yeah,
am.
we are. I am. I'm very outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to that stuff, I am not at all.
I don't
I
like
am-
being set up.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't like to be
No,
set up with
I don't like being set
random
up.
weirdos.
I like being, I like a good word. Like,
Right.
hey, that chick really likes you. Hey, that guy,
That's kind of what I did.
I like that linking up.
Well, here's the other thing.
Hold on,
Like,
that's what I
if
did.
it
Yeah, but you
was-
also gave a phone number away.
Hold on, to somebody that's only in town for 24 more hours.
That's true.
but here's the thing. Like, if you, Stace, if you knew somebody that was like your friend that was like, hey, I have this friend, Heather, who I know this dude who's super cool, like Aaron.
Uh-huh.
Aaron is my friend who's super cool. I hang out with him all the
I am
time.
pretty cool.
I know he's not a freaking weirdo.
You don't
Um,
nothing, girl.
Well, whatever. But do you know what I mean? Like, hey, you should. I'm gonna give my phone number to you, my friend Erin, to get a hold of you.
Okay.
Not like just some fucking stranger off the street who's gonna be
Well,
in town for
clearly
a
you're
while.
way more pissed off about it than I ever
No,
knew,
no,
because
no.
you dropped 4 F-bombs in 15 minutes. And so you're clearly more pissed off than we knew. I mean, honestly. And I won't do it again, I promise. I didn't realize that. I thought it would be a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
not only
it's
that,
not. That
but
is not.
a date doesn't have to be, I mean, you don't have to go into a dark alley or go,
Well, I'm not.
Into
Which
his
is also
car.
fun.
yeah, which I think is
Which
too.
is totally
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. No, but you know, you don't have to go into the back seat of his car. I'm just saying,
Right,
you guys
no,
could have went out
and-
for a beer or talked at the bar.
And
Had a
going into the
beer.
back seat of cars
No, you're
is
right.
not only scary for women.
Well,
I had a woman try and put her finger in my ass once.
Really?
Yeah, I was on tour in
Hold
Salt
on.
Lake City.
Are you telling
Sorry.
me the truth?
No, this is a true
Okay.
story.
Okay.
wait, in
It-
Salt Lake City, in the
Salt
back
Lake
of a
City.
car.
Yeah, I was young. I think
11.
18.
Just
I think I
kidding.
was 18 or 19. And it was the first time a girl tried to put her fingers inside me.
Oh,
Wow.
And I went, oh!
whoa!
You don't have to do that.
What are you doing?
How old was she?
I don't know.
40.
Old enough.
Old enough.
Um,
Andy Dooley's going to be calling us any minute.
oh, is he?
Yeah, but not to change the subject. I really will know that. And actually, I will cease being your wingman. I mean, like, I won't do it because
And that's okay.
Some people don't want wingmen.
That's exactly right.
I like
It seems
wingmen.
Like you don't like it.
I am, okay. There's actually a really interesting thing. and maybe we can cover it.
Oh,
Oh, is
hold
he
on.
calling?
Yep. Well,
oops. And we get all quiet when the phone rings.
hold on. Why can I do this?
Hi, Andy Dooley. Hi, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
How you doing? This is Aaron.
Yes.
How you doing, Andy? We got Andy Dooley on the line.
Yay! Thanks, Andy. I don't have my act together today.
Oh, she totally does.
I do.
It's just college.
It's
right? We're
a
hanging out.
it's a you know what do you call it?
Midterms.
Midterms week.
She's normally pretty unflappable, but she looks kind of flapped
Yeah.
right now.
As soon when I leave the show tonight, I have to write a paper and study for a midterm.
Oof.
Ew.
And then yeah, so I still have to do
But then
that.
spring break, right?
But then it's spring bake, baby. And
Spring
one
bake.
more day. Spring
Oh.
break. Pun intended. Pun
Okay,
intended.
I've got some after we're done talking with Andy. I have a spring break idea that I think you'll like.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Andy, what's going on tonight? Nice. You are right now?
Ooh.
Hey, that's awesome. We're in a studio, but it's a really cool studio, so that counts for something, right? Hey, will you post your video? Will you post a link to it on our page? That would be fantastic. So, what's your video about this week? Whoa, that's hilarious. You know, our show last week was on addiction.
And kittens.
And kittens.
Yeah, so tell us what your video was about. Right? What? Indeed, absolutely. I always say it's the fastest path to happiness. It really is. I mean, you know, booze or drugs or whatever, I'm not saying it's a positive one necessarily, but it is a really fast path to happiness. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Nice. Excellent.
And I think and I brought this up with Meredith last week. I think do a little to use an NLP terminology, do a little lateral chunking, you know, like okay, this is the outcome that I want from drinking and using drugs. So what are some other ways to get that outcome? What are some other ways to get that result?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I actually quit in November. I quit drinking. Yeah, that was and I love to drink. I think it's really awesome. I do. I think when people go like,
great.
"Why don't you drink anymore?" I'm like, "'Cause I love it. I think it is fan-freaking-tastic." But here's something funny. Well, I mean, like ironic. You know how they always do those research projects or whatever, where they have the cat. Well, they might do it with a cat, with a rat that's in a cage, and it's a barren cage, and they have water with cocaine in it, and the rat always goes to the cocaine water. But what they're finding is if they give a rat an enhanced
An enriched environment.
enriched environment, that's the word I'm looking for. Like, they have a ball in there, a little palm tree, little swimming pool, whatever, okay? And the rat will never go to the cocaine water.
Really?
It will never.
Well,
so,
and that's why that's one of the reasons addiction is so rampant is because of the fact that it's like it's a culture of get up, go to work, go home, go to bed, get up, go to work, go home, go to bed. And then the weekend comes around and you have like a whole week's worth of lost joy that you need to catch up on. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yep. Yeah. No. Okay. So enlighten us some more on your video. Okay. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Right. Yeah, no, I actually, when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, it was funny because he knows that I think everything is perfect. You just don't know why at the time. So when people would come up to me and say like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you guys broke up," I would go, "Oh no, it was great. We were together for 3 years. We have a great relationship. I mean, it's kind of off my bucket list to have a fantastic relationship. When I have one again, it'll be super duper great, even better. I learned a lot. It was great, whatever." And even when we were breaking up, he would say, I would be excited. He's like, "I'm excited to see who you go out with next." Mm. He's even said that to me because he knows that I just think they get progressively better.
Yeah, Andy, incidentally, we're going to be talking a lot about Imago therapy today, like Harville Hendrix type of stuff. And one of the principles behind that is using past relationships to mine for information, to use all the past heartbreaks to really mine for, what was great about it, what wasn't so great about it, what frustrations were present, what were the responses to those frustrations, and how those patterns repeated throughout life. One of my favorite quotes is Napoleon Hill, "Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit."
Nice. Oh, we're deep mofos over here, Andy. Don't kid yourself. We're deep mofos.
Deep mofos.
Oh yeah, we're deep mofos. Okay, so and really, how did kittens come into this, Andrew? Yeah. Right. Let's just do that all the time.
Look at the kitten.
I'm just gonna keep a kitten in my pocket. That would be kind of weird. You have to keep food in the other pocket. That's just weird. Or a cat or a litter box or something. Oh, that's awesome. We have a Google Hangout going right now, and Aaron just made me into a kitten.
Oh, that's good.
Which actually gives, when I'm at the dentist or where, when you go to the doctor for the first time and they say, make you fill out the forms and it says, "What do you like to be called?" I always put sex kitten. And when it says, do you have any allergies? I always say Republicans.
She's a sassy lady.
Who knew? Well, awesome. So the activation jam, what, is 2 weeks from Friday?
March 27th, right?
Is that 2 weeks? Right on. What are we doing? Right on. How was that? Nice. You're so awesome anyway. You do. You just light up a room. It's fantastic to be in your energy. Indeed. Okay. Oh, wow. Right. Nice. Right on. Right on.
I love that.
Right on. Yeah.
It's like the new age equivalent of like going and blazing up a dude. Like just like for real. Seriously, like going and roasting a bone, man. Just like a group of people getting together and go, hey man, let's get high off
right
off
on.
a vision vibes.
That sounds
man.
like a blast. Hey, Aaron, Andy, do you think Aaron will let us borrow his plane? Right on.
I like it.
Right on. That's cool. Well, and I wouldn't need to borrow his plane except for mine's being loaned out right now to deliver medicines to Africa. So I'm sure he'll just let us use it. For
I
the
love that. That's a great exercise.
Yeah, I love it too. So are we gonna do that at the Activation Jam? 3333 Quebec Street, 7 o'clock on the 27th of March.
That is such a cool.
I don't know
exercise.
rat from cat, but I know where the hell we're gonna be on the 27th.
I may have to get my shift covered at Three Kings just to come.
You will. No, you will.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for that too. That sounds so great. I'm going to do that. I think we should do that every time. Do you mind if we do that every time when we start the show? Yeah. Okay, good. And we'll give you credit. Don't kid yourself. I'm really good about giving credit. Yeah, we will. Right on. Right. Well, and here's the thing that and I think Aaron has had the same issue. Ever since I quit drinking, I have this just general feeling that I'm a really effing boring person. I'm like, no, seriously, I'm like a human quaalude. I'm not kidding. I'm like, I can't even.
A human quaalude.
I know. And so, but you know what? It's when I do that, when I goof off going, oh, okay, let's talk about like Aaron's future. I get like such a buzz. It doesn't feel boring.
Stacey, you're a lot of things.
Oh my God.
That's it. No. You're a lot of things, and boring and a human quaalude is
It's
just
not
not there.
not
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah. Stop, cancel, clear, get the F out of here. You're right, buddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who's telling that story? That's what I wonder.
Dude, yeah. Well, I think I just thought I was like so much more fun when I was boozed up. But you know, the fact of the matter is, I was just like a pain in the ass. It's like, okay, you know what? She's a lot of fun until she's so shithoused that like we have to take her home.
Carry her
Oh
home.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
know, hey man, a bottle of wine is single serve to this girl. So, yeah, I'm a lot cheaper date now. That's for sure. A lot. Yeah. Actually, I'm really not. I order every dessert on the menu. I'm actually not.
Not every dessert on the menu.
Yeah.
You usually leave one out.
ice cream. It's too cold for ice cream. Yeah. Although Aaron gave me an idea. We were out for dinner and I ordered every dessert on the menu except for the ice cream. And then he's like, yeah, why don't you just order some in from somewhere else? And I'm like, actually, I'm going to do that one of these days. Don't kid yourself. I don't know.
Call Grubhub and have some more.
That's why I'm built to be like, I will never be poor because I am not built to be poor. I am like the white Kanye. So much so that people have referred to Kanye as the Black Stacy. Yeah. So you're welcome, Kanye West, if you're listening right now. Oh my God, please don't listen, Kanye. I wouldn't want him to. Anything else for us before, you got to come in the studio one of these days because Aaron has a broner for you. He loves you.
You're not supposed to tell him.
Oh, okay. Or bromance or whatever you call him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Broner. He's the one that taught me that.
I just respect you. I just think you're really a nice guy.
He does know any guy that is like super enlightened that is on our show.
That's cool.
Aaron loves.
I'm
Yeah.
a big fan. I don't get to experience a lot of consciousness in the bar and music business, unfortunately.
Mm.
So it's nice.
Nice. Yeah. So you got to come in here one of these nights.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We're a pretty fun crowd. Awesome, dude. Cool. Well, everybody that's listening to us, don't forget to check out Andy Dooley, who we love.
I'd rather remember to check out Andy Dooley.
Oh, yes. Remember to check out Andy Dooley, 3333 Quebec Street on 7 o'clock, Friday, March 27th. And it'll be super duper duper great.
We're going to be there.
Yep. I'm going to be there for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. Excellent. Thanks, Andy, for joining us again. You want to come back next week? Let's do it next week. You're the bomb. Thanks for giving us this great idea. We can't wait to try it out. Awesome. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing that at the end of the show.
Love that.
We're doing that at the
guy.
end of the show.
Awesome.
Love that guy. Okay, so tonight we're doing Imago work, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I found an article on Oprah.com that sort of goes over some of Harville Hendrix stuff. Do you want to just dive into the Imago stuff first?
Let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Let's get
let's
get a little what mixed in with our how.
Let's go to break first. You're
Okay,
listening to Social Penetration.
WCAS.
WCAS Radio. Who's here?
Aaron Howell.
Oh, Heather. Sorry. I was like, who's at the door?
We will be right back.
Child.
Okay.
What was it about the book that
Right
made
on.
it so memorable?
Dude, is that not the
Sparkle
best
lights
idea?
on them.
Yeah.
It's a great
Okay,
idea.
you got to tell me what you want
We're
to
calling
do
upon
in
everyone
2
to
years.
unite
So that
that
you got to tell both
That
of us.
encourages
Okay,
Well,
so
we'll
at
do
the
it
end of
on
the
we'll do it on the air.
Okay. Are you cool with that?
Tonight,
Yeah.
we'll start
Okay, start thinking about it.
I already know.
I don't even know what it is. I wouldn't even know how to read
Public
one.
Night of Reading Renaissance.
I was just like, give me tea, that's good.
It's like, try it.
publicnight.org.
That is really
A public service
Like
announcement
fruity,
brought to you by the
chewy,
Library of Congress.
something.
Reading
And
is
it's got
fundamental.
like, it's
And by
look at the color of it.
WCAS.
It's like,
That is good.
it's probably like some
When
pomegranate.
burning outdoors, remember, if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
I can't
Before
tell.
building a fire or burning yard waste, contact your local fire department for open burning regulations. Always be sure to burn responsibly
And by the
because
way,
9 out of 10
I don't take
wildfires
that
are
in a bad
caused
way
by
if you don't
humans.
like me.
That
Oh,
means
no,
9 out of 10
really-
wildfires can be
I
prevented.
learned. I
Brought
did.
to you by the
I
U.S.
do. I
Forest
listen.
Service, your
You know what I
state
mean?
I know you do.
forester,
Okay.
and Smokey
No,
Bear.
no,
Like, I'm
I
not
know.
going to sit there and go
Learn
like,
more
let me think of
at
another way to
smokeybear.com.
set Heather up.
Only
I'm
you
like,
can prevent
no.
wildfires.
I hear it. I got
WCAS
it.
Radio cares when
I
it
hear
counts.
you. I see you.
We need.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who's a little afraid of the internet? Do you feel it's just not
Like
for
write them
you?
down?
Or maybe you
I have
think
a
it's all
pen.
too much and don't know where to begin learning. Did you know that
Here's the
today
paper.
many companies post
I'm gonna
job
share the
openings online
screen.
only
Back of this
and
paper.
require online applications? It's
Yeah.
vital that every American have the digital literacy skills they need in order to succeed.
Here's
There's
another
one.
For
There's
more
a pen for you.
information,
There's a
visit
pen for you.
www.everyoneon.org.
Look, I'm sharing the
Free
screen
internet and computer
Oh,
training
cool.
classes.
with everybody. How great
Or
is that?
call
Yeah.
1-855-RY1
Thanks. Oh, you have a
to learn more. This has been a public service message brought to you by Connect to Compete and by WCAS
I'll come back after this
Radio.
one.
I need a blue pen. Sorry, I'm aware.
There are hundreds of fun and
Is it-
simple things you and your family
That's
can
a
do to live a
pencil.
healthier
No, this is a
lifestyle.
pen.
Here are a
It's
few.
a weird
think
Drop the
Imago
fat,
work may be a
drop the
little
sugar,
further down
drop
the list
down and
on
give
some
me
things
10.
we need to work
Ditch
on.
the video games, ditch the remote, take a
Is-
ditch,
That's not real fun.
She's
skip
gonna poke
dessert,
your eyes out.
skip
She's
sit,
like,
skip to my loop.
fuck did you
don't
just
skip
say to me?
breakfast,
Listen,
search,
I don't
eat
know.
care,
I'm a
online
weirdo
to
when it
find
comes
more
to
ways
that.
you
Look at
and
all
your
my
family
steps
can
are
get
really
healthy
My,
good.
together.
my
Message from
ex-wife
the
was,
Ad Council, HHS, and
the
WCAS
TV
Radio.
had to be on it.
WCAS cares for your
Even,
health.
even or
Oh yeah, no, I'm not like
even
always.
volume or increment of 5, all the lights had to be facing, all the light switches had to be the same way.
I'm gonna try something. We'll just keep talking and we'll just come in during the conversation.
Oh,
So she
yeah.
needed.
So like she
So
would
she-
have to
yeah.
she would have to have all the light switches flipped a certain way.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not a weirdo like that.
you know what? I don't like lights to be on during the day. It's like the lighting is too weird,
Yeah. No.
and I don't really like my food to touch.
I like
Really?
I
Not
like
at
when
all.
I'm stacking glasses at the bar.
Kidding.
I like everything to be in order. Like I like all the glasses of a like kind to be stacked in a certain way. Like I'm a little neurotic in that way.
Mhm.
I think we all are. We just have preferences.
You know what though? Your house is always like. I mean, I can show up at your house whenever, and it's like a swimming pool in a hospital. It's always so organized.
Mine
That
is
has
not.
nothing to do with me.
Really?
No, that has nothing to do with
Okay.
me. My Parker's girlfriend Amber, she rage cleans, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she get.
I need a rage.
I say,
I have
I say she rage cleans like she's just going around the house going. "Ah!"
Right?
But no, she likes things to be clean and orderly, and she moved out, so it's actually kind of slipped into disorder a little bit more. But my desk is just chaos. My room is chaos.
You have no idea what chaos looks like. I've lived in my house for
I've ridden in your
13
car.
years.
I've ridden
Oh
in
yeah,
your car.
in my car, and my desk is worse.
My desk is pretty bad. But hey, Einstein said, if a cluttered desk is an example of a cluttered mind, then what is an empty desk an example of?
Oh.
Here's the other thing though, is like I bet you know where everything in my desk at
No, I know where it all
is really messy.
Mhm.
And people are like, dude, you need to clean your desk. I'm like, listen, I know where everything is at,
Mm-hmm.
so back off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like leave me alone.
Yep.
I know where stuff is at. Like that's just how my scatterbrain
Right.
works.
Well, and you were pretty organized with your move.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be. You know what I did last time I moved into the house I moved into? I put every single thing I own, minus like a few outfits, on my front lawn, took a picture of it, and let ARC come and take it all
Yeah.
of it. and by the way, I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Take it all, and then I moved 8 blocks away. So it was funny because right after that, somebody's like, "Hey, Stace, want to go for a bike ride?" I'm like, "I gave my bike away." They're like, 8 blocks? You couldn't ride your bike 8 blocks to your new house?
I don't even want to deal with it.
I'm like, I didn't. I just didn't want to deal with it.
When I was younger, I was one of those type of guys who we always had band houses, so we had to move in a hurry whenever we had to move. Whenever we had to move, it was an emergency. And so it would just be like, grab a trash bag, clear everything off the table into the trash bag,
Oh.
and then like clean up everything with a snow shovel. Like just like clean everything up with a snow shovel and then get out of the house. Getting ready to move out of this house that I'm moving out of now. My soon to be former roommate is like, she's like, okay, well, I should have a chunk of the deposit for you here soon, and yada yada yada. And I'm going, I have never gotten a damaged
Received.
deposit back
Ever.
in my life. I always
so
just
great.
like, laces up, time to go, out the door.
You know, actually speaking, okay, so my niece Aubrey, my niece Aubrey, when she first moved to LA, she got an apartment and her rent was like, I don't know, like somewhere around like $1,200 or $1,600 a month for a 1-bedroom.
Jeez.
Okay. Well, and she was like 21 years old, maybe she's 22, 23. Her first place, not with roommates, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And brutal.
Ugh.
Yeah, because she's a school teacher. So
Yeah.
she'll be able to make her rent when she gets her job. But for the first 8 weeks she was out there, she didn't get paid because they do teacher training, but they don't pay you.
Sure.
So she called me, and is like, Aunt Stace, will you help me out? And I'm like, oh, sure, absolutely. So I sent her deposit money. I found out she moved when I got a check in the mail one day. I'm like, hey, did you move? And she's like, yeah. What? I forgot to tell you. How'd you know? And I'm like, oh, because I got your deposit money back. And she's like, oh yeah, I moved. And I knew the way she is, because Aubrey and I are both about the same amount of not exactly super clean. Like, which is just funny. Oh my God, please, just don't ever watch us what we cook, because we stick our fingers and stuff, and you know what I mean. Like,
That's okay.
And so, but I knew that Aubrey and I were the same in that way, that we are not that clean or organized.
Right.
But I knew that if it was my money, she'd make people take their shoes off at the door.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, she'd do better than with her own. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. I got every freaking
Yeah.
penny
Wow.
back. Yeah.
I think well, you know, it's funny because you and I are very much like that in that respect. Well, her cleaning lady came to my house and I said, yeah, here's the vacuum. She says to me, does it work? I was like, yes, it does. She was like, well, you know, you're Stacy's friend, so I figure you're probably just like her.
No, you know what she does? When things break in the house, she
Yeah.
buys them, and like the vacuum.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, is that a different vacuum? She's like, we've had it for like 3 years, but the other one broke. And I'm like, so you just bought a vacuum? She's like, I knew you would forget, because
Yeah.
I just don't remember that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. Yeah, but no, she was awesome. That was great. She did it
Yeah.
like that.
She does an awesome job.
Yeah, no.
And I said, hey, here's my cleaning supplies. I don't have any like glass cleaner. And she's like, it's okay. It's totally fine. So I drive by my old apartment and I see her using my like shower or like my bathtub cleaner, cleaning the windows. I was like, sweet,
Did it
man.
work?
She's
Okay.
making it work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's probably just
And-
used to my house.
The other thing is speaking of deposits, I just got a check from my old apartment from a deposit. I'm like, what is
Oh,
this? Yeah, I got a deposit back.
so but then they didn't take one for your new
I
one?
don't know.
So they didn't charge you a
I
new
don't
deposit?
know.
That's cool.
I have no idea. I figured they knew what they were doing.
Mhm.
So
Agreed. Hey,
I don't know.
should we get started on this?
Yeah, let's get into
Yeah.
it. Okay, so
Okay, and I'm just going to forewarn anyone, if you're related to me, I'm not saying
Tune out.
anything to piss anybody off. I'm just telling my truth. I don't even know what we're doing tonight, but I just feel like it's not going to be helpful unless I really am truthful
Sure.
about
Right.
my own stuff.
okay, so everybody who's listening at home, so why would you want to learn this? All right.
Yeah, why?
Have you ever wondered why you date the same people over and over again, and it just seems like by some miracle you're able to end up with the same person in a different body time
Mhm.
after time after time again?
Mhm.
And wouldn't you like to be able to have better relationships in the future and be able to develop that understanding of how your wounding as a child has affected your
Mhm.
relationships today? Okay, well that's what Imago therapy
Mhm.
attempts to do. And by the way, I'm just going to preface this to saying I'm no expert, but this is something I'm really interested in,
Uh-huh.
really curious of. I've been reading a lot of Harville Hendrix. My coach directed me towards this when I came to her and said, look, I had 4 relationships in a year and they all ended the same way.
Mm.
And I said, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right. I
Sure.
actually was able to identify that in myself.
Yeah.
And so I don't do that necessarily anymore, but then again, I just don't have relationships.
Well,
anymore.
and here's what I've been told, and then I'll end the preface.
Mhm.
And is that as you evolve and as you develop this understanding, you will still be attracted to your imago.
Right.
The idea of this is not to cease being attracted to your imago, because your imago is the person, your imago type is the person who's going to turn you on and is going to excite you.
Right.
But you will begin to develop an attraction to and begin to attract people within your imago who are more conscious, a more elevated version of it,
Good
a
call.
more evolved version of it.
Less
Okay,
douchey,
so-
shall we say.
This area of relationship therapy is made famous by Harville Hendrix, PhD, in the book Keeping the Love You Find and
Finding the love
Finding
you
the
want.
Love You Want. And basically the way it works is like this, is you think of like a wood block carving, okay? like that you would like print with,
Okay.
like a wood,
got it.
like a wood
I
block
was like,
printing.
What
Okay.
the hell is a wood
Now,
block carving? I'm
you-
like thinking of
Yeah, like
an
a
elephant?
wood
Yeah.
block that you would use to make prints with.
Okay.
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 Now, what is going to happen is
Back in the good old days.
throughout your developmental phases of life,
Mhm.
your primary caregivers, despite their best intentions, even if you have the
Mhm.
best parents around, they're going to wound you in certain ways, and you are going to develop. You're going to develop an imprint based on both their positive and their negative
Mhm.
qualities and
By the way,
attributes.
my mom is the best.
Yeah.
So-
No,
so-
my mom's the best. And
Hold on.
I'll arm wrestle you for it
No,
right
no,
now.
I'm having my mom
I'll
kick
probably
your mom's
tackle
lily
both
white
of you
ass.
bitches.
My
Yeah.
dad has a gun, so
Okay, good
My
point.
mom has a gun.
My
Yeah.
dad's
A pink
dead.
one.
Does
So-
she have a pink gun?
Yes, she does.
That's
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
So okay, so basically
She wins.
now what happens is, unfortunately, the most traumatic, most negative characteristics leave the deepest marks. Now, if you keep the image in your head of the wood block,
Uh-huh.
the deepest carvings are going to be from the most significant negative wounding
Right.
experiences in
Mhm.
your life.
Mhm.
So
Hold on, and let's back this up for just 1 second. What you perceive to be the most negative and wounding.
well,
Like,
whatever wounded you.
Right, but I just think, I'm just prefacing this for my family. You know what I mean? That's listening tonight.
Yeah.
And they're not bad people, and they don't kick puppies or eat babies, nor did they ever do anything intentional in my whole life that I can think of that they would have wanted to wound me or
Right.
that we would, or
Sure.
that I would want to
But we
wound
get
them.
hurt in life. It's part of the
Exactly.
human condition.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's part of the human condition is we get wounded in life.
Mhm.
So, okay, so if you're at home going over this, we posted the link to this brief Imago workup.
Mhm.
You can, if you just Google brief Imago workup, it'll come up.
Actually, go to our Facebook
If
page.
you go to our Facebook page,
And
there's
if
a
you
link.
go on YouTube on Social Penetration Radio, we have it up on the screen.
Right, we're looking at it right now.
Mhm.
So if you read the books, Getting the Love You Want and
Mm-hmm.
Keeping the Love You Find, it gets a lot more in depth, and I've been going through a lot of these things on my own. But as sort of an introduction, you can do this brief Imago workup.
Mhm.
And so here's how this is going to work. Is we're going to go through it. If you're listening at home, you can follow along, and we're going to talk to Stacy and Heather here, and we're going to kind of unpack this as
Or
we
you
go
guys
along.
can also call in to 303-352-7424 if you want to share any of your own experiences. And I won't say your name.
Right.
Okay.
Any revelations you might have.
Yeah.
For me personally, this was huge. Just
Mm-hmm.
doing this brief Imago workup was huge. I slapped my forehead and I went, Jesus Christ,
Oh, yeah.
I've been dating the same woman over and over again. And all great women.
Uh-huh.
All great women in their own respect.
Yeah.
All amazing women in
Mhm.
their own respect. Just the things that I was wanting. Another aspect of Keeping the Love You Find is it talks about the different negative qualities. It talks about the different frustrations you experience, the different feelings associated with that, the different thoughts, your reaction to those frustrations, the fears that came with those frustrations, and then begins to help you understand what you desire in order to reconcile those
Mhm.
frustrations.
Okay.
And you can begin to understand, you can be able to communicate with your partner a little better in the future. So it's just great. It's something great. If you're single, it's great for you. If you're in a relationship, this would be great for you to do as a couple, just to begin to understand why you're attracted to each other.
Okay,
Okay, so
let it rip.
we're just going to start with A,
Okay.
section A. And section A says, in the columns below, note/write positive traits or characteristics of your primary caregivers. Use words such as warm, loving, always there, nurturing, sense of humor, intelligent, hardworking, playful, etc.
Okay.
So and then there's a section for mother, father, and other, which would be any of the other people who, it takes a village to raise a child.
And is there an age cutoff here?
No, any of the primary caregiverers that were in your life.
Okay, because I
Because you're
remember
going through
when
different-
I've done it first, when I first did this, they had me think about age 5, but maybe that's a longer.
Well, there's different things that
Uh-huh.
happen at different times in your life. And in Keeping the Love You Find, this is another section that I'm at, is there's a big chunk of the book where you identify woundings at various developmental stages. And it gets a lot more specific than the general ideas of the imprint period and the socialization period and the modeling period. Like, it gets far more in detail.
Okay.
So, for example, under the mother category, my mom's very supportive. She's loving. She's affectionate. She's happy, adoring, caring, and on and on and on. And then characteristics about my dad: he's really hardworking. He's fun. He's funny. He's loving, protective. He's fairness oriented, and he's a great provider and responsible and safe. These are all things that I have. Then I have attributes of my both my grandmothers, my grandfather, my aunt who was around, my best friend's parents who were around me a lot when I was a kid,
Okay.
and certain characteristics of them.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next step within section A is to circle the 5 most significant, impactful traits, the ones that had the most impact on you.
Okay.
So list off everything that these people have, and then circle, for each one, circle the 5 most impactful traits.
Okay.
So if you're at home, go ahead and start doing that now.
Okay.
Because it's important to remember that there seems to be this thing in modern psychology where it's just all about just ripping your parents apart and
Right.
just like nailing them to the cross and just saying like, God, my parents are the reason I'm so screwed up. But all of our positive qualities we got from them too.
Right.
And I don't believe in evil. I don't believe that anybody is completely evil and is completely a bad person. Everyone's doing the best they can with the information they have available. Everyone's doing the best they can with the resources they have available. And even if your parents were real funked up, kerfuffled up, it makes it a lot easier to let go of that anger and sadness and victimization if you can realize that they're just human beings who are doing the best that they could, no matter how bad it may have seemed. And they had good qualities too.
Okay.
So then we move on to section B. And if you're still working on section A, that's okay. We're just going to move through this for the purposes of radio.
Okay.
Okay. So in section B, in the columns below, write negative traits or characteristics of your primary caretakers. You use words such as never there, critical, anxious, angry, controlling, cold, distant, preoccupied, depressed, hard to please, etc. And that applies to your mother, your father, and any others. Now, for the sake of, now I know you're okay with saying, sharing this stuff, but I'm not going to go into any detail out of respect for my folks.
Well,
I'm not either.
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, if we're not going into any detail about any of this, I'm totally cool.
Yeah.
I just thought.
Now I will share at the end what characteristics tend to come up in
I just didn't
my
know.
Imago
I just didn't know what we were doing with it. If it would be helpful if I share, then I'll share. If it's not helpful, then I'm not going to.
So then the next step is much like in section A. You're going to circle the 5 most significant, impactful traits, the ones that had the most impact on you.
Okay.
The negative things that hurt you the most. The things that you remember frustrating you the most.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Here's the other thing too that's kind of weird about this. There's some perceptions that I'm not sure I recognized when I was a kid that I think I recognize now. And I can't tell. Is it because I know this person now that I'm projecting it on something?
Like I think about my relationship now with my parents, and I look at them, and I think and I think about how we are now and how, growing up as a kid, man, it was different as a kid, but I don't there's not one specific, I got down to section 3 that 3 things needed I didn't get from my caretakers. I couldn't come up with 3 things because I'm like, man, my parents were always there, and you know what I mean? I had a really good childhood, and there's not one thing that stuck out that I was like, I'm super pissed off about.
Well, it doesn't have to be something super pissed off. It's just a need that wasn't being met.
Right, but that's the thing is there's not something that there's nothing that really jumps out that
Oh, maybe you're fortunate.
Well, hold on, and I'll give you an example. And I'm not trying to air your stuff, and it's not like this is a big deal or whatever. But how we were talking about one time that when you're around, your family.
No, and so and it's funny because that's the thing is the one thing, so childhood frustrations is that those high expectations, like, because I'm the oldest daughter, like I'm the oldest, there's me and my brother. That's the only thing, Stace, that I could come up with. Like everything, that burden is put on me because of high expectations. So that is literally the only
So
thing.
you didn't get slack when you needed it.
Right.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and here's the other thing too, is when you're a little kid, there is so much mystery behind being a grown-up. It's like, wow, there's this whole world that grown-ups can do. And then you become a grown-up and you realize you're just a kid in a grown-up body with responsibilities who's trying to thrive, who's simultaneously trying to thrive and terrified about what you're going to have to do to thrive.
Right.
Like that's another thing, and I'd like to bring this up, and I've been mentioning this to a lot of people. Another thing that is really, I find that is really beneficial in giving people a break and giving people the benefit of the doubt and having compassion is understanding that all people are the same on two very important levels. And that is that everyone wants to thrive.
Yep.
Everybody is just trying to thrive worldwide. And to some degree, everybody is afraid or unsure or uncertain about what it means to be a human being, or about, like, people become addicts, they get into religion, they find all these different things, they study and try and develop academia, all to try and give significance to their life and try and cast away this general intrinsic fear of being a human being, of living from moment to moment, of living and not really knowing why we're here, or even if there is a reason for us being here.
Well, okay, so I'm going to give an example of what I meant when I was asking that question. Okay, so now that I'm an adult, I recognize that one of my primary caretakers really cares what other people think about them. And when I think about it, when I was a kid, I'm not sure I knew that part, but the way that it manifested was the sort of always putting off this air, that not wanting to assimilate with our real circumstances, because we lived in a double wide trailer. I mean, and they didn't want to, admit that or be a part of that, which is, I totally get why you would do that. I mean, if I had the option to live in a double wide trailer or go off and have my own place, I would pick to go off and have my own place instead of living with, 5 of my other family members in a double wide trailer. Call me picky. But, I remember being a kid and going, why doesn't that person how come that person's not moving in with us? And now in hindsight, I know that they just didn't want to be in a part of that situation. Now, it looked to me when I was a kid like they cared what other people thought. Like they were so concerned about what other people thought, but really it was because they wanted, I'm sure, a level of independence. Actually, I don't know that. In this, I think it was more about that they cared what other people thought about them.
Sure.
Because this isn't a particularly independent person.
Well, and the same circumstances, the same events you are going to respond, you're going to react to certain frustrations and certain circumstances, differently. There's an almost endless number of ways that someone can react to different circumstances.
Okay.
So knowing that the way that you would respond to caring about what you think would probably be different than the way that person in your family would respond to whatever caused them to care tremendously about what people think. You may even react in the exact opposite way in what can be called polar opposing insecurity compensation, which is, if there's, like, let's say there's a family that has a seen not heard kind of rule, your mother or father may react to that environmental circumstance by being very quiet and very docile.
Uh-huh.
Whereas the same thing would show up with you, and you would go, make a decision at a very young age. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm going to be as loud and outgoing and outspoken as I possibly can.
Right.
Because people are going to, people have different personality types, and they're going to
Right.
respond to different stimuli in different ways.
And okay, so I'm thinking, I guess again, I'm trying to think of this more from when I was a kid and what I thought than when I'm an adult and what I think.
Well, and thinking of it as an adult is beneficial as well. You're looking at this and you're going, okay, what are the positive traits that I had,
Okay.
or that my mom and my dad and my other primary caregivers had? Looking at it objectively as an adult, and then going, okay, what about negative attributes? What are the things that affected me? What were the things about my mom, my dad, and my primary caregivers that frustrated me? What do I remember being frustrated about? What do I remember now that bothers me? Okay. So section C, in the box below, write 3 things you needed most and didn't get from your caretakers. Use words such as more time, acceptance of who I was, encouragement, affection, understanding, respect, etc. I think that we all have unmet needs. If you just think about even friends of yours, that you're not getting what you need from the friendship. I mean, we're all individuals and we're not mind readers. Your parents didn't know what you really needed or wanted on the deepest level. Maybe they thought that they were doing what you needed. They were giving you what you needed. They were giving you what they thought you needed based on what they needed.
Right. And you know what? We'll fill out this next one. So we're going in the next thing. We're doing in the box below things you needed most and you didn't get from your caretakers. Let's all fill that out while we go to break. You're listening to WCAS Radio.
Social penetration.
Social penetration.
Hey, it's Heather.
This is Aaron from Heavy Mental Coaching.
I'm Stacy, and we'll be right back.
Social penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment. It's on WCAS Radio, Central 108. It's happening, right?
I'll come back in 2, but I want to fill out my stuff.
Don't be afraid to take on the tough classes in high school. You need them to succeed in college. Most colleges require 3 to 4 years of math, English, science, social studies, and at least 2 years of the same foreign language. So push yourself. You may not need all these classes to finish high school, but working harder today makes getting into college a whole lot easier. For more info, visit knowhowtogo.org. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
All across America, something remarkable is happening. Kids are eating better, they're exercising. Our youngsters are, drumroll please, getting healthy. And it's all because determined moms have gotten together to make a difference. It's not rocket science. They're just finding creative ways to help their kids exercise and eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables every day.
What you didn't get.
You can do it too. Get
I'm
ideas, get involved,
so
get
funny
going.
because my brothers and sisters always say about my biological father.
Let's move.
Like, you hate him.
It's like,
that's the person I know that I know like every single great thing about him.
If you're a parent,
you know what I
can't
mean?
help but look at your child and wonder what the future holds. You may dream about the possibility of your son or daughter becoming a professional athlete, or maybe a renowned heart surgeon. But while you're dreaming, consider this. The odds that your child will be diagnosed with autism are 1 in 88. Knowing the signs of autism and catching it early can make a world of difference to your child and to you. To learn the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Agency. WCAS cares when it counts.
Monsters. They could be living under the bed or in the bathtub, on the dresser, even on the kitchen counter.
On yours?
For a child with asthma,
What's
it
your
can
number
seem
3?
like monsters
short
are
and your other
everywhere.
ones?
The fact is, their next asthma attack could be triggered by something as innocent as a teddy bear or a dripping faucet,
It's only 3 items.
even the toys in your bathtub. And it's up to you to make the monsters go away. Fortunately,
But I mean,
there
this
are
is
simple ways
however many
you can help.
attributes you wanted to.
From putting stuffed animals in the freezer for a few hours to kill dust mites, to drying bath toys and turning on the bathroom fan to prevent mold.
Encouragement.
Keeping pets out of the bedroom to reduce dander, and wiping up food crumbs that can attract pests. They're easy to do, and they're part of a complete plan that can help put an end to your child's asthma attacks. Learn more at noattacks.org or call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS because their next breath is in your hands. Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
According to a recent survey, 86%
There's Mike.
of dads spend more time with their children today than their own fathers did with them. However, 7 out of 10 also report that they could use tips on how to be a better parent. Even the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. For more information, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and by WCAS Radio. From Central Classroom 108, you are listening to a WCAS Radio.
Okay, I'm gonna do that thing again where we can start
commercial-free
talking when we come back in, if you guys are really wanting to talk.
And your
Okay, so Aaron, excellent.
okay.
Okay.
So then our next section here.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're on.
Hold on, let me page this down on our thing so people can see the rest of the screen. Hold on.
Okay. So we just did section C, which is in C section. I was a C-section baby.
Were you?
Which, by the way, if you weren't a C-section baby, I would just like to point out that your face has touched your mom's vagina.
Actually, it's very good for you.
Is it?
Because you know why? There's so many. There's antibiotic properties in vaginal secretions that you don't get when you're a C-section baby, and so that's why they're saying that a lot of kids that are C-section babies are either very sick when they first come out, or catch a lot of stuff or whatever. They don't have the same immunity.
Yeah, psoriasis is I have psoriasis, and that's an autoimmune.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I was just gonna make a burn and just say my face has touched my mom's vagina 0 times.
And I'm like, mine has, and I have the immunity of a.
But I never get sick.
I don't either. But when you were kids, so what they're finding
I
is
just get a lot of strep.
So C-sections are very, very, they're profitable for hospitals. So they're finding that they have gone up 75% in the past 10 years.
Wow. Really?
Is that
a lot of people are opting to get them, just going like, I'll just take the C-section scar. I don't want to rip my hoo-ha open.
And not only that, but there's just so many things in vaginal secretions that babies get, to the point where they've started to, with C-section babies, if people are knowledgeable enough, they're not going to do this at a regular hospital, but a midwife, will say, okay, you have to go to the hospital because you need a C-section, like you need a C-section. And then they'll take vaginal secretions and
just
make sure
smear it.
And
they'll
swab it in the baby's nose and.
What do they dip 2 fingers in and rub it?
Exactly.
Like
and then
zang them.
Yeah.
Zang
No,
them.
it's
Or
like
just take a handful of it and smear it on the baby's face.
Yeah. Or just use their dad's penis and. Hey, Dad.
Just like give them the old flick.
Right.
The old pickle flick.
Just in case you're wondering what you're listening to Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment.
Hey, and we're talking about medical stuff here.
Right.
We're not being vulgar.
Right. Great.
I'm honestly very curious about how they apply
Right.
vaginal secretions to a baby's face.
Yep.
I really want to know.
Well, they took a
I wanna know.
condom and that your dad used, which
They
he
just
wouldn't need to.
Oh,
at
they
that
put it on their finger and flick it at the baby's face like a rubber band.
Right. Right. It's like
Like a bunch of doctors stand on one side of the room and they draw a target on the baby's face.
Agreed.
And they flick
On the top of its head.
All right.
Or they just stick it on the baby's
We're
head.
going to be getting some calls
I
from
bet
some
so.
midwives here soon. So some obstetricians are going to read us the riot act. Okay.
Okay. What's the next split?
All right. The next section is section D says list 3 childhood frustrations, what you felt and what you did in response to them.
Okay.
So if you're watching our YouTube feed or watching us on Google Hangouts, you'll see these 3 sections, which are a section for childhood frustrations, and then a section for what you felt, and then a section for what you actually did. If you're listening at home, you can just divide out those 3 columns on your own.
Okay.
Just 3 separate columns for one. There's list 3 or maybe 4 childhood frustrations that you had. And then in the next column, what you felt, what emotions were present from those childhood frustrations. And then in a separate column, what you actually did.
Okay.
So again, if you're near a computer, you can just go to our Facebook page and you can get the link to this Imago workup, or you can just Google brief Imago workup.
Do you mind sharing one of yours or making up an example?
Okay. Well, okay. Here's an example. Childhood frustration is being told no. I don't like being told no.
I don't either.
My dad's a cop, so he was a little bit on the protective side. Like he, like an ice cream truck would come to the neighborhood, and I'd be like, ice cream, and he'd be like, you're not going anywhere near an ice cream truck, because he's a cop,
right?
And so he knows that there's sickos out there that like dose kids with acid or do whatever. He was a little protective, so he told me no a lot. Like he has seen the worst of people.
Right.
He's seen some gnarly stuff in his day. He worked some bad neighborhoods in Denver when he was in the late 70s and early 80s. Unfortunately, when I was very young, he got off the street and worked desks, but he saw some gnarly SHIT. Yeah. So things like that. Or, being forced to do things I didn't want to, that was frustrating. I love my mom. She didn't really force me to ever do anything. Yeah. Like ever. But I also had then like I never finish anything in adulthood. I mean, it's sort of frustrating because I always did whatever I wanted. So now in adulthood, when I don't get to do whatever I want, it doesn't sit well with me. There's also times of feeling invaded. That's another one. Just feeling like my space was being invaded. Okay. Okay, and then what you felt. Okay. Anger, disappointment, frustration, resentment, annoyed, feeling embarrassed, things like that. Okay. And then what you actually did, I would throw tantrums, storm off, or I learned to bullshit at a very young age. So, try and talk my way out of things, sneak around, lie. We learned to lie at a very young age, silent contempt, become silently contemptuous, yell, go silent, lose my temper. Yeah, I was a bit of a bullshitter too. So I would make stuff up a lot of the time. Okay. Okay. So hopefully by now you at least have some responses. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next page and we're going to take the responses that we've given on the first page. Okay. And we're going to use those to fill in the information on page 2. All right. Okay. I'm gonna scroll down here for anybody that's doing this along with us. And if you're at home and you're doing this, make sure you don't have anything sharp or corrosive on your hands. Okay. Because you're going to be slapping your forehead here in a few minutes. Okay. Because this for me, the lights dimmed in my house when I did this. I forgot to. Okay, when we are circling things from A, B, and C, are we supposed to be doing that? Or they're the most impactful. So in A, B, and C, and D? Well, no, just in A and B, circle the 5 most impactful characteristics. Okay. The ones that impacted you the most. Okay. And then C and D, those are actually going, you're not choosing those out because that actually is limited to just a few responses anyway. Okay. So, okay. My personal imago. Okay, so imagine this is your unconscious speaking right now. Okay. Imagine if you can. I don't know if you can, but maybe you can. Okay. Imagine this is your unconscious speaking when you were in the mate selection process. Okay. So 1, I am trying to find and or get a spouse or life partner in my life who will be, and then insert the circled positive traits from section A. Okay. So I am trying to find and or get a spouse or life partner in my life who will be loving, affectionate, fun, understanding, a great listener, hardworking, funny, safe, dedicated, adventurous, sweet, silly, down to earth, or whatever responses you happen to put.
Okay. Oh my God.
And then 2,
Oh.
but I won't really fall in love unless he or she has at least some of these traits, and insert the circled traits from section B in the prior page. Now, like I said, the negative traits leave the deepest imprint.
Okay.
So I will not really fall in love unless he or she also has some of these traits. They are critical, mean, or controlling, or passive aggressive, or antisocial, or temperamental, or any other number of things, maybe intrusive,
Okay.
things like that. I won't go into all the responses I have. but-
Okay. All right.
Okay. So when I find someone with a blend of these positive and negative traits, I will get really interested in him or her and may fall in love and form an intimate, committed relationship or marriage. Now, in my relationship or my marriage, I will struggle to get my spouse or partner to have only the positive traits so I can finally get an adult version of, and then insert the unmet needs from section C. So in my marriage or relationship, I will struggle to get my spouse or partner to only have the positive traits so that I can finally get an adult version of space, freedom, ability to follow my own path, patience to figure things out, structure and order.
Was I supposed to circle stuff or not on C?
No. You're doing it over on the second page on line 3. You're inserting what the 3 things you didn't get from your caretakers.
And I'm gonna scroll down so that people can see this
Okay.
better.
So you're gonna insert the unmet needs from section C.
Oh man.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then number 4 is, in my marriage or relationship, I will sometimes tend to stop myself from getting these needs met by doing an adult version of these behaviors, and then insert the past responses to frustrations in the 3rd column of section D. So in my marriage or relationship, I will sometimes tend to stop myself from getting these needs met by doing an adult version of these behaviors: throwing tantrums, storming off, crying, negotiating, bargaining, charming, sneaking, lying, bottling up of emotions, passive aggressive behavior, stewing and snapping, losing your temper, hunching over, shutting down, placating, avoiding, misrepresenting self, blowing smoke up their ass, escaping, doing what you want regardless.
Okay.
Everybody's learning an awful lot about me.
No, I think that's great. Let's see. Okay.
So then you can look through, and this gives you, and actually looking at this, I have done a lot more work since I did this workup. And there's some stuff that I have extrapolated since. But so if you're at home, and you're going over this, take a look at the personal Imago, and you get on page 2, and you get a really good glimpse into what keeps happening in your relationship.
Want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Let it rip, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one where you're trying to, what's the thing? I'm trying to find or get a spouse life partner who will be proud, adventuresome. I mean, proud of me. You know what I mean? Adventuresome, independent, fun, and funny. Oh, I forgot freaking smart. But I think that would be in there too. But that's more than 5. Pretend that one of those includes, I'm going to put smart. Nobody's above me.
Yep.
Okay. But I won't really fall in love unless somebody is critical, weak, never there, secretive, or gives more attention to other people.
Whoa, that sounds like an avoidant. That sounds like a textbook avoidant, doesn't it?
Sure does. Doesn't it? Brutal.
That's a textbook avoidant.
It is textbook. It is. Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
So what's number 3? So in my marriage relationship, I will struggle to get my partner to have only the positive traits so that I can finally get an adult version of time, acceptance, guidance, encouragement, pride, or whatever you call that. It's when somebody's proud of you. Warmth and understanding.
Validation.
Validation. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, dude. It's so much harder this week. I called April February today. Yeah, it's been, yeah. And
I called a potato a hurricane. I don't know what things are anymore.
I don't. And then in my relationship, I will sometimes tend to stop myself from getting these needs met by doing an adult version of shutting off, figuring out like ways around things, trying to do something or trying to be perfect, and throwing a tantrum.
Now, looking at that Imago workup, does that resonate with you? Does that
Well, that sounds kind of like a textbook.
anxious?
Anxious. Thank you.
Wow. So
Wow.
so was this insightful for you?
Actually, it
this
is
helpful for you?
insightful. It is.
Did you find
So,
value in this?
I do find value in
Cool.
it. And so now what?
Well, now you just have. Well,
Yeah,
now
hold on.
now you go home, then you sit in a bathtub, and you open a couple veins, maybe drop the toaster in, and give up. No,
No.
what you do is now you have more information, and not I like Joshua Pelletier, who is the guy who wrote this great book that is often dismissed as kind of a pickup artist type of book, but he's really a smart guy and he's really a conscious guy. Used to do a lot of trainings here in Denver, actually. He says that knowledge is not power, but application is power.
Oh, that's great.
And you apply this knowledge in, going forward through relationships and just recognizing that those things are there. And as you evolve as a person, you begin to develop these different things in yourself. You will attract and be attracted to partners who, yes, they do follow through with your Imago type. But, ideally, Stacy, and I know that the more that you grow, you're going to be attracting people who are more conscious and are more willing to show up and work with you to understand these
Well,
things.
and a lot of these things, okay, so like critical or secretive or giving attention to other people, I know it about myself. I didn't know it this clearly. I can't say, it's like I'll be on a date with someone and I'll see these little glimmers of those things.
Right.
Now in my 20s, I'd have been like, oh, I'm in love. This is so
and that's
great.
the thing is you're going to be able to go and you're going to go, okay, I'm falling in love with this person. I need to prepare myself for these things. And another aspect that gets extrapolated.
But that my prepare is run.
Right.
Like that's mine.
Well, and now you'll be able to more accurately communicate that which you desire to reconcile these issues.
But hold on. I don't want to date somebody that's secretive or never there or gives more attention to others. I don't want that.
Well, chances are then,
then,
like have you ever met someone and you're just like, God, this guy is so perfect, but I'm just not attracted to him. That's the Imago at work.
Right. I agree with that for sure.
That's basically, and my coach, Dr. Bev, which by the way, I would love to have Dr. Bev on the show.
Why don't we?
I think, well, that's why I said we should do one on the value of coaching.
Okay, cool.
And I'm sure she would agree to do it.
Okay.
Let's see what Heather's got. Are you gonna talk about this?
I have a couple, but it's mine is weird.
Okay.
So can you read
So
them?
let's do this.
Yeah.
All right. So I am trying to find and or get a spouse or life partner in my life who will be
generous, hardworking, independent, fearless, loving, caring, compassionate.
There you go. Okay. But I won't really fall in love unless he also has at
Hey,
least,
you don't know. She might have changed.
You're straight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
but
heterosexual.
yeah, but
She's
she might-
heterosexual.
She might have switched.
Okay.
No.
So I don't know.
No.
Okay.
I'm
No,
awfully cute. I got a
I'm
really
pretty
cute
sure
headband
Heather
on today.
is, as the great philosopher Socrates said, strictly dickly. Is that Socrates who said that?
Yeah, I think that was Socrates or
Maybe
Socrates.
Sophocles?
I think it was Socrates that said that.
Hey, you just referenced a movie.
I did.
Congratulations.
Yay!
Oh my God. Stacy made a pop culture reference. Everybody,
You should see her
From
little
like
face.
Oh.
25 years ago.
She's so proud of herself. I just referenced Bill and Ted's
She's
Excellent
too.
Adventure.
It was an excellent adventure too.
It was a great movie. Okay, so, but I won't really fall in love unless he or she also has at least some of these traits.
So this is where I find it a little bit weird because I'm thinking about like not my mother and father, but like somebody who had a big influence on my life who is not in my life anymore. So they're very selfish. And I don't like, I would never be with anybody who's like super duper selfish. Like that's just not. So I don't know if I agree with that one. Like,
Okay, so
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the other ones are timid and distant and like very selfish.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you notice any similarity in your relationships between the negative attributes that show up in guys that you date? Like the guys that you really fall in love with? And first of all, have you ever really been in love?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you've been in love.
Yep.
Okay, now in the guys that you've been in love with,
Yep.
has there been any sort of continuity, any sort of pattern as far as negative attributes that show up in those guys?
Yeah, a little bit, but here's what happened is when those negative attributes started to show up, I pieced out. I was like, nope, I'm out.
See, so she's already aware of it.
yeah.
Because I was like, I under no circumstances will be treated like that. And maybe that is part of it is because I saw like how my crazy aunt, who we want to choke on a sandwich, bless her heart,
No, not bless her heart.
treats like my family.
Bless
and-
her heart disease.
Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
Ooh, take that back. Delete, cancel,
Claire.
delete.
yeah, but like I look back on that and I'm like, I will never let that happen to me. I will never let anybody treat me that way ever.
And she was really influential in
She
your early
was.
life.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so
like,
what were her?
very influential, like growing up.
So let's reverse engineer this.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Okay.
too.
What are the patterns that keep showing up in the guys that you fall in love with? What are the patterns, the negative attributes that keep showing up in the guys that you keep ending up with?
I think that they are. I think it gets back to they become selfish and they start
to see
yeah.
selfishness.
And
And these
then-
are guys that like you're really attracted to,
Yeah.
really turned on by.
Yeah, and then that's when I peace out.
That's something that's that's
Yeah.
something that can possibly continue to show up.
Sure.
And I think I commend you for having awareness about that.
And it doesn't show up right away,
Right.
obviously. And then, but when it does, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm
But your
out.
your unconscious mind knows the best way to
And
find that.
speaking
stuff out.
of reverse engineer, okay, so then let's go to like your column 3 where it's frustrations felt and did. What did you do?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
number 3.
in my marriage or relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I will struggle to get my spouse or partner to have only the positive traits so that I can finally get an adult version of what? And this is the unmet. This is the
And
unmet needs.
I was on a different question, but that's okay.
Oh.
In my marriage or
Oh
relationship.
yeah, what I didn't get, the couple of things I didn't get from caretakers.
Mhm.
So it would be the more respect,
Right.
and more, and I only had a couple. I actually only had 2. More respect and more affection.
Right.
And I look back like on, and it's weird because that dynamic changed. Like
Right.
it was a really, really good relationship, and then it just changed.
Mhm.
And so I don't know.
Okay. All right. And then number 4, in my marriage or relationship, I will sometimes tend to stop myself from getting these needs met by doing an adult version of these behaviors, and then
Yep.
insert the past responses to frustrations, which are.
This is where I get like really overwhelmed. I just and that's where I kind of shut down.
But that was
super
my thing.
overwhelmed.
So you're doing, that was going to be sort of my point. Okay, so you know
So
how
saying
she's saying
peace out is pulling.
peace out,
That's
Yeah.
pulling the
pulling
ripcord.
the pulling the ripcord.
Yeah.
So this is an accurate thing. It's just that you're starting by pulling the ripcord before.
So do you?
Yeah, which I don't think
well,
is a bad thing.
Well, let's ask her. Does this resonate with you? Does this seem truthful to you?
Yeah, it does.
Does
Absolutely.
this look correct to you?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, 100%. Because when I start to see like patterns of like behavior of how how people had treated me or my family in the past, I'm like, nope, guess what? And Stacey and I have talked about this, even like with friends. I'm like, hey, guess what? You know what? You are not good enough to be in my life, so I'm out.
And I'm the same way.
And it's weird because I will have a really good relationship with somebody, and be it a boyfriend, be it a friend, and as soon as they turn into an asshole or start to show these weird, start to be selfish or start to disrespect me, I just write them off, and I don't
Because
even
you know
look,
where it's headed.
yeah, I don't even look back because I'm like, man, I'm a good goddamn friend, and you know what? That is your loss because I'm a really good person and you are losing out. So I don't know. It's weird, and I don't know if that's like, ooh, I'm afraid to like have my feelings hurt. My feelings have, and my feelings will get hurt.
Yeah.
But
Now,
Because-
here's one thing that I would point out, and this is one thing that I would, I don't know what your experience is, so there's.
Sure.
I would, however, say that people are not their behaviors, and although
Sure.
a person's behavior is the clearest indicator of what. It's the best information you can get about someone because people say stuff all day and people blow smoke up our asses.
Yep.
And even though someone's behavior is a direct indicator of who they are also at the same time paradoxically not their behaviors.
Sure.
They're more than their behaviors.
Yeah.
So I would say that there's a very good chance because that affects you so deeply that there is a chance that the guys that you're going to be the most drawn to, the guys that you're going to be the most attracted to, may from time to time exhibit behaviors which can be disrespectful or can be selfish.
Sure. Yep.
And one of the things that I really like about Keeping the Love You Find is Harville Hendrix talks about how the intention is not to heal yourself and then get into the relationship. The ideal is to be able to heal yourself through the relationship.
Sure.
Right.
And for the two of you to heal one another.
Yeah.
Now, that's not saying go out and get in the most dysfunctional relationship
yeah.
you can for the purpose of
and
healing.
that's the other thing is like, I and Stacey can attest to this. Like, I give people a lot of chances, probably
Right.
sometimes too many chances. Like, if you F up, I'll give you another chance, and I'll give you probably like 3 more chances. And then that's when I'm like, bless you. That's when I'll just be like, okay, guess what? You know what? It has to be it can't be a one-way street. It has to be a two-way street.
I have another question.
Sure.
Okay, so, and this is reverse engineering too. When you're talking like in what you felt and what you did, it was one of your answers give a lot of chances?
No.
Okay, I was just
Nope.
wondering that there was a correlation there.
And
Okay.
I didn't write it down, but I mean, that's.
Well, and there's also, now, like I said, this is just a very brief workup, a really brief
No,
snapshot.
but I'm like tripping my face off a little bit. And
Yeah.
and here's another thing too, I guess. Okay, so I mean, clearly, I think that I wouldn't want to be with somebody that's critical and secretive and gives attention to others and withholds love and validation. Okay, like that doesn't sound like a party.
Well, and those
no.
characteristics are going to exist to varying
I was
degrees.
just gonna say,
Right.
but I can see how I might be attracted to somebody that only does, because I can do those things too.
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
those
Yeah.
characteristics live inside me too, and that if on a scale from 1 to 10, before I would seek out the ones that it was like an 11. Hey man, do you always give more attention to everybody else except for me? You are my hero, But if I was with somebody that did that occasionally, then that would be something I could work with. And in those books, what they talk about is the thing that your partner needs from you the most to heal is the thing you need to learn to give the most.
Right.
And
I
so
would
does
I
the
would
book
add
attached.
I would add, and which I'm reading off the Kindle you gave me for my birthday,
You're so funny.
which I love.
I do love it. I'm
Okay,
so
I do
glad.
love it. I love it. Okay, now I will say this. taking it to another school or another arena of thought, which really, there's one teaching on the world that just goes by a lot of different names. To go more into a Jungian perspective, the Jungian idea of perception is projection. To the degree that something is unconscious or you have disowned, that will show up in your relationships. So it's all about conscious awareness. The more awareness that you can develop in yourself, the more awareness of these characteristics in yourself, the more your projections will begin to balance out. My ex-wife, bless her heart, seriously, bless her heart.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, bless her. I hope that she's free from suffering and that she finds all the love in the world. I really do mean that.
We didn't mean that about
No, I know, but there's just that look like, yeah, bless her heart.
Like,
No, but I mean, really,
yeah.
like, we were projections of one another. We were projections of the most unconscious, most, deepest, darkest stuff that we had disowned in ourselves. And then through the relationship and through being able to kind of mine that relationship for information. Now, I don't know what she's done, but I know that I have gone through and I have mined all of my relationships for information and for understanding. And as a result, those projections cease to be as intense because they're less unconscious.
I want to talk about that, but we're going to go to another
let's
break.
take a break.
Because I want to talk about that, like mining your relationships. Let's come back and talk about that. This is Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment. I'm Stacy.
I'm Aaron from Heavy Mental Coaching.
I'm Heather from just Heather.
And you're listening to WCAS Radio.
Right. I'm gonna that.
Dude, social penetration or entertainment means
Pardon?
Let me
see your nails.
Oh, sorry.
Radio. Some people don't know
Yeah.
what's happening.
And
Right.
nice. Right now, because all this stuff should.
Now.
But they looked better when I just had them done. The
Wash surface, utensils, and hands with soap and water while preparing food,
but I
especially
do want to
when
talk
handling
about
raw
mining
meats
stuff
or
and,
eggs. Raw food may contain bacteria that can make you
well, and
very
like
sick
this
or
right here,
worse. 1/6 American will
like,
get sick from food poisoning
gives
this year,
attention
and
to
roughly
others.
3,000
Like,
will die. But you can
one
keep
of my
your
friends-
family safe by
my friend
cleaning
Margaret
with soap
always
and
says-
water as you go. Learn
So,
more
about
about this
the-
and other important information. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. That's foodsafety.gov. Public service announcement brought to you by USDA, HHS, and by WCAS Radio. There are hundreds of fun and simple things you and your family can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here's a few. Drop the fat. Drop the sugar. Drop down and give me 10.
Yeah.
Ditch the video games.
She's like,
Ditch the
but
remote. Dig a ditch. Skip seconds. Skip dessert.
Skip
To my loo. Just don't skip breakfast. Search Weekend online to find more ways you and your family can get healthy together. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and WCAS Radio. WCAS
Yeah.
cares for the campus.
Yeah.
Right. I suppose if somebody said that.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about the new Rural Affordable Health Insurance that's now available. So listen up. Not only does it cover prescriptions, hospitalizations, and maternity care, but preventive care is now free. Plus, you can't be denied for a pre-existing condition. And, drumroll please, financial help is available too. Check out getcoveredamerica.org today to learn about your options. And remember to take care, people. A public service message to you from the Ad Council and from WCAS Radio.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
Ooh, it smells good in here.
We're coming back.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, so we're talking about mining.
We're talking about mining. We're talking about excavating.
Excavating.
I'd like to mine some gold.
You know, I like to use this metaphor with clients a lot, which is, I had a friend who was a brilliant hypnotherapist and a brilliant coach, and he was going through kind of a rough time. And he was just like, man, I'm really feeling like, the more work I do, the more dirt I just keep digging up, and it just seems endless. And I was just like, that's the interesting thing. I was like, you You ever watch any of those shows on National Geographic when they talk to archaeologists? And he's like, yeah, sometimes. And I go, the interesting thing about archaeology is God, they just dig so much and they just clear away so much dirt. And the interesting thing is the more dirt you clear away, yeah, there's more dirt there, but the deeper you dig and the more and more you dig, sooner or later, the more treasures you uncover.
No, that's true.
Just like Garth.
I was just gonna say that.
Just like Garth
I was
Brooks,
just gonna-
voice of an angel, an American treasure.
No, speaking of excavation, and I'm going to post this to our Facebook page, but I want to show you guys something about excavation. I was doing a house over in, and I'll have to make sure I post this because otherwise it will mean nothing to our listeners. But I was in the 5 Points on 23rd and Glenarm yesterday doing an appraisal, and this woman was talking about how a block away, investor had bought a small house and was scraping it off and going to build, a big house and thinking he's going to just make $1 gajillion, right? So he kept scraping away and scraping away and scraping away at the foundation. I'm sure, and I was talking with a realtor about this today. And we were joking around, that like this investor is probably like, yeah, I'm going to make $250,000. But you know what? I'm not going to hire somebody. I'm just going to use the backhoe myself. Okay. I don't need to hire. Those guys are dumb, right? Okay, hold on. So here is the vacant lot. Okay, so there's the vacant lot. Look, they got a little too close to the neighbor's house. That's the front of the neighbor's house.
No.
The whole side of the home that was built prior to 1880 fell off. And these people that own this house just had a baby.
Oh my God.
Are you
And
kidding me?
I will post this to Facebook.
That guy is going to get his brains sued.
So listen to this. So the people tried to turn it in on their homeowner's insurance, which their homeowner's insurance is like, no, we're not paying for that. And now, mind you, normally your homeowner's insurance will pay for something, then sue the other company for restitution. But homeowners insurance companies do not pay for moved earth. Unless you have coverage like earthquake coverage or whatever. But they don't cover for moved earth. So their homeowner's insurance isn't going to pay for it. They absolutely have to sue the builder. Well, the builder, of course, is like, hey, man, I was going to make $250,000 on this. Now he's looking at a hole in the ground that's actually going to cost him like, well, I don't know, $600,000.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Man, so now on the bright side, some lucky so-and-so is going to move in and buy that hole in the ground and make a fortune.
Right.
Yeah. Buy that hole in the ground.
Now it's going to be a
maybe buy
big lot.
2 holes in the ground. And
That's
make a
going to be
fortune.
a big ass lot.
So let's talk about this mining.
I'm sorry, I had to bring it up.
Mining relationships for gold.
Sorry, I had to
So
bring it up.
there's another exercise early on in Keeping the Love You Find, which I really recommend for the single folks.
And we need selfies tonight.
I am. Oh yeah. Remember the selfies. Remember the selfies.
Remember the selfie.
Okay.
Remember.
Again.
So I really recommend it for the single folks. I'm currently single.
Me too.
And
Me too.
and I'm doing a lot of work on this stuff. And one of the things that are in it, or one of the exercise that's in it, is to take and list out all your significant relationships. Now, I did the ones that are in my 30s, my late 20s and early 30s. My earlier relationships were definitely more intense, more amplified versions of these frustrations and whatnot. But you basically go through and you list your first or your, most significant 3 or 4 relationships.
Okay. Hey, by the way, your handwriting is actually really good for a guy.
It's horrible. Are you kidding me?
I think it's very legible, and don't you?
I
think it's.
I mean,
pretty good.
it's.
I catch stuff about my handwriting all the time.
Really?
All the time.
Do you think it's pretty good?
No, I think it's pretty for
Yeah.
a dude. I think it's
I
good.
For a guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You have excellent
basically,
penmanship, Mr. Howard.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hey, by the way, you guys are listening to Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment. And tonight we are talking about Imago work.
Yeah.
We've already done a workup, and which you can go check out on our
Facebook
page. You can also check it out on our Google Hangout that we're having tonight. If you
Or
go
just
to YouTube,
Google Imago workup.
No, don't even Google Imago work. Send an email to heavymentalcoaching@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, and I'll walk you through it.
And he'll walk you through it.
Okay. So another exercise in the book is to take the most significant relationships you've had.
Okay.
Okay.
Romantic. Right?
Romantic relationships, and just begin to draw some columns up
Okay.
of these relationships,
Okay.
and list, like we've done, list all the positive and negative attributes, and then circle the most significant positive attributes, and then underline the most significant negative ones, and kind of put them into a top 10 list.
Okay.
Do that for every past relationship.
Okay.
Are we doing that right now?
No, I'm just telling people what they can do.
Okay, cool.
So then what you can do is you can take each one of these relationships and you form 5 columns. Okay.
Okay.
One column for frustrations that you experienced in that relationship. One column for the feelings that those frustrations caused you, the actual emotions. A column for the thoughts that you had in relationship to those frustrations, your reactions to those,
Okay.
and then the fears associated, like the actual, like what you were afraid was going to happen. So my frustration would be, she gets drunk at really inappropriate times. The feelings are and when that happens, I feel embarrassed and annoyed and frustrated and angry and disgusted and contemptuous. The thought is, we had plans, get your shit together, The reaction is silent contempt or stewing or lying about how I'm feeling or avoiding her. And then the fear is, she's going to make me look bad or embarrass me. Okay. That's just an example.
Can I give you guys an example? I mean, just like this was me at my absolute worst ever. Okay. I mean, I don't know about in a relationship, period. Okay. So my ex-boyfriend did give everybody else more attention, and talk about avoidant. Okay. Because we talk about anxious and avoidant relationships. I would meet people that he was good friends with, and like after a year that we had been dating, and they didn't even know he had a girlfriend. Brutal, right?
Ouch.
Okay, so it worked for me because we didn't spend a lot of time together, so I got to have my independence and all that other stuff. But then that was hurtful on the back end. Okay, so we are at his house, and he said, "Hey, baby, come over tonight. I really want to treat you well. I'm gonna make dinner for you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he goes, "Come over here. Go pick up a bottle of wine and come by, and we'll hang out." I'm like, "Okay, great. In fact, I'll pick up dessert." Okay, super great. So I show up, and dinner isn't like going at all or anything. And I say hi, we kiss, whatever. And some guy just walks in his house, and he had no boundaries whatsoever. So people would just walk in his house. And this guy he was a real estate agent, and this guy had been like a client of his like 10 years ago, and heard from like the neighbor across the street that he lived there now, and just walked in the house. Okay. "Hey, how's it going?" Da 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 da. And my boyfriend at the time doesn't go like, "Hey man, what are you walking in my house for?" He was like, "Hey, haven't seen you for a long time. Da da da. This is my girlfriend." You know what I mean? And they just start talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm like hungry now. Okay. So I feel myself getting pissed. Like, okay, this was a romantic evening. He was going to make me do. Oh, here was the thing. So then I went to go start the grill, because it's like, okay, I'm kind of hungry now. It's like almost 8:00 at night. And, he goes, no, don't put the stuff on the grill because you don't know how to grill. Okay. And right.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way,
I don't know how to do what?
Honestly, I didn't know the nuances of how to grill perfectly. I do now. I mean, honestly, like, I know how to grill perfectly now. So no dude could ever say that to me again. And if you guys ever want to know the nuances of how to grill something perfectly, just ask me.
I've had your grilling. Thank you very much. And she does know how to grill.
Okay. So
I've been grilled on the air by
both of these girls. So then I remained calm, okay, because I could feel myself just getting hot, right?
Sure.
And I go, okay, I could either like come unglued, or I can open a beer, open the ice cream, eat the ice cream, drink a beer, and everything's cool. I'm not hungry. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm just low blood sugar and I'm just pissed. I need an attitude adjustment. So the guy leaves and he goes, okay, I'm going to go hop in the shower. Okay, so I'm like, all right, go hop in the shower. So he comes back up and he goes, okay, so what, you know, like how much of whatever we were having do you want? Or do you want a burger? Or do you want chicken? And I go, actually, I'm good. Like I'm good right now. And I'm not hungry anymore. And he goes, what? You ruin everything. Oh my God.
Then it comes unglued.
Okay, so when he came out of the shower anyway, he had his guitar like around his neck, you know, he's about to like serenade me, you know what I mean? And he's like, you ruined everything. I walked over to him, took a swig of beer in my mouth, spit it in his face, and dumped the rest on his head. Yeah. I was like, whew. Yeah, that was
That Imago doesn't enter into that. That's just
no.
That's just the right thing to do. As a professional coach, I'm going to go ahead and say that was totally appropriate behavior.
I lost my effing. I don't think I've ever been so pissed in my life. In fact, I mean, you can hear how pissed off I am just talking about it right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're going right back there. Maybe we should do a timeline therapy episode where
Right?
where I can help you let go
I
of
think that sounds
unresolved
fun.
anger.
No, I think that's good. And actually, that has made me like I actually consider that a really good thing because I don't ever want to feel that way again.
Yep.
That I'm more selective about choosing people where I would be in that situation. Like if I see that someone has no boundaries with anyone else on earth, except for with me, like no way. Like I can't go down that road.
Yep.
Because I know that I will feel starved and infuriated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Okay. So
Okay, where enlightenment meets anger and
Anger
management.
So
just in case everybody thinks though that I am just always 100% chill about everything.
I learned something new about you.
I am not. I can go batshit.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we're doing some Imago work today. We're doing some Imago work, and
there's about to be
Stacy,
some wrestling.
Wow, Stacy's Imago can be a real trick.
Yeah.
Can be a real.
Hey, can I tell you guys
Rooney-dooney.
something that I've decided to do just personally? I'm totally way off topic.
Go right ahead.
So first of all, Dr. Heath, we all know who that is, right? Was talking in class.
If only somebody could tame him.
Oh my God! You know what I am going to do before I graduate?
Good.
As a gift, I'm going to give him a gift, at the end of the semester, and I don't know what that's going to be yet. Maybe I think he loves his wife and he loves his family, and I thought it might be really cool to get him like a night where like a chef comes to the house and gives him and his wife couples massage. He has clients at this time.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah. And then so they have couples massage at home, and then somebody comes and cooks for them.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, and anybody who's listening who's going to see Dr. Heath,
If
no
you tell
spoilers.
him, yeah,
No
don't be a
spoilers.
jackass.
Don't be a jerk.
Okay, so but the other thing I'm going to do for him is take the clips of all the nice things that we say about him here on the air, and it'll be like, you know what I mean, and just piece them together.
That's
Don't you
good.
think that'll be
I like
fun?
it.
And then like mix it together with like music, like like baller.
Okay, let me
awesome
add some more contact.
Okay.
Oh, Dr. Heath.
Right.
Oh, I want to have a brain baby with you someday.
That's so awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
But no, so he was talking in class about how the only thing that they have found that takes people out of, or that cures panic attacks, the only thing is yoga and meditation. That's it. that people that are having a panic attack are so inside their emotional brain that there is nothing else that will take them to their prefrontal cortex besides yoga and except for medication.
Timeline therapy works.
Okay.
Timeline therapy works because it changes.
Hold on, but in the midst of a panic attack is what he was talking about. Okay.
Right, and I mean, I would say it depends on the definition of a panic attack.
Okay.
I would say because timeline therapy does change the temporal perspective of the problem.
Okay.
And it works really well for any type of negative emotional state. Just changing that. We'll go over it sometime. We'll do a timeline therapy episode sometime, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
So a lot of therapists have started to bring yoga and meditation into their therapy practices. I thought it would be cool to have yoga that brings therapy in. So I'm getting my yoga certification.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the certifications I want to get is I want to become a outlaw yoga instructor.
Oh, he's coming on our show on April 22nd.
Is he really?
The guy that founded it.
I love outlaw yoga.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it's great.
So-
I took a class of it one time over at
Kindness.
yeah, at Kindness.
Yeah.
And I had a blast.
Okay.
We're like listening to metal and like doing these bridge poses and yelling, and like my eyes felt like they're gonna bug out of my head. It was so cool.
The founder, his name is Jeremy, and he will be joining us on April 22nd.
Very cool.
I know. And I'm also looking for somebody that does Tantra so that we can bring that person in. We don't have to do each other. We're all good. Or we could, whatever. And
in case you're looking to learn to fool around forever.
one of my favorite yoga instructors in all of town, who just brings so much brightness and energy to her yoga classes. She teaches at Samadhi, and she hasn't given me a yes yet. So I'm gonna actually go to her class on Sunday and have her drink my Kool-Aid.
Very cool.
Awesome.
So
okay. So we're gonna go back to talking about mining relationships for data.
Okay.
Basically. So you do these workups for all of your significant relationships where you are listing off the different frustrations that came up in a relationship, the different feelings that those frustrations cause, the different thoughts that accompanied those feelings,
Okay.
the reactions to those thoughts and feelings from those frustrations, the fears associated with those reactions and thoughts and feelings to those frustrations. And you begin to you circle and any of the ones that are common across more than one of those relationships.
Okay.
Okay. So when I did this, I had 3 or 4 relationships that I was cross-referencing.
Okay.
Okay. So you're cross-referencing all these significant relationships. Now, if you're someone like me who's had a dozen, I fall in love with breakfast. I really do. That's something that I've been accused of, is I fall in love with breakfast.
I have a crush on somebody all the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Stacy had a crush on me when we
I
first
did.
met.
Yep, I did.
She did.
Andy Burkaw too.
Yeah. Oh God, who doesn't have a crush on me?
Somebody else said that too, and I was like, really? I mean, now in
Oh no,
hindsight,
there's a girl I work with who was like, she is in a committed relationship and in love with the guy she's with, but I was talking about Andy Burkaw, and she goes, Andy Burkaw, that guy's really attractive, super attractive, really attractive guy, good looking guy. And he is, the
Well,
ladies love
and
him.
here's the funny thing that I thought that I like made a recognition. So Andy and I, we were fast friends anyway, and I was just like, I have a little bit of a crush on Andy. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, where do you get the best out of a person? Do you get it when you're in a relationship with them? Or, I mean, not that Andy and I would ever be in a relationship, but do you get it when you're romantic with them? Or do you get it when you're friends with them?
I think you get the depth of their positive traits when the closer you get to someone, you're going to get more depth from their negative attributes as well as a greater depth of their positive attributes.
Yeah, I think that's where I make my shift very quickly when I have a crush on someone, is that I'm like, you know what? I don't think I really want to have a crush on them. I would rather be awesome friends, because I don't really have crushes. Well, I actually have had a crush on a couple of turds, Because did I tell you that
Well,
the people that I've had in school, crushes on in school, did I tell you the common denominator between all of them?
Yep.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
what?
They sat next to me. That
Oh.
was it.
Well,
I mean,
here's
that
another
was
thing. Here's one thing that I would say to that point, Stacy. You are genuinely curious about and interested
Mhm.
in everyone that you meet.
It's true.
Now, one that Joshua Pellisier guy I mentioned who wrote the Tao of
Mhm.
Badass, who is like a charisma
Nice.
coach and teacher, and I used
I
to.
think I need that.
I worked for his company for a little bit.
That's awesome.
He's a really smart guy. I just don't like the people that took over his company.
Okay.
I don't like what they teach.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's
But
okay.
no, I mean to them,
Yeah.
if they happen to hear this, I just don't like the way they run it now.
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked is he reframed attraction. He said all attraction is curiosity.
Ah,
That's it.
wow.
So in some aspect, you are attracted to the crazy guy with the tinfoil hat and the footy pajamas playing a Casio at the bus station, because you look at him and you become curious.
Uh-huh.
And that takes away a lot of the scariness of attracting people.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because that's the person I'm not that curious about, because I already know kind of what they are.
Right, you can figure them out pretty
Yeah.
quickly. So what I would say is that yeah, you have crushes on a lot of people, and you are also genuinely
That's true.
curious
And-
about everyone you meet.
What we were talking about while you were in the bathroom was that one of the things that one of my friends was talking to me about is that if you are initially friends with me and you don't, you're not that secure with, my connection with someone, that you think that my friends think I love everyone all the same. That because of my curiosity about everything and everyone, that I love like the waiter as much as I love Heather and you. You know what I mean? And that people that really know me and that are also secure in themselves, my friend said, it's really awesome because you love everybody, but you love us the most. And
Well,
yeah.
and there's, attraction is only one stage of the entire process.
Sure.
So you go from attraction into rapport,
Mhm.
into seduction,
Mhm.
and then into relationship balance.
Okay.
Based on this model that we're talking
Okay.
about. And so you become attracted to or curious about people.
Mhm.
You even build rapport with those
Mhm.
people. But if it never enters into the area of the seduction stage of the interaction, then you just have a lot of friends,
Uh-huh.
because you became attracted to them, because you're curious about them.
Yep.
And then you become interested in getting to know them, and you build a rapport. But if that seduction stage never comes up, you're not building up that sexual aspect of the relationship.
You know what is so funny? I always say about how, because I always know I'm going to get over a crush pretty soon. And it's that, how do you do that? Oh, I just get to know them.
That's when I stop being attracted.
That's when I start. We're going to go to another break. Can you believe how fast the show is going?
It's going super fast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, everybody. Again, you're listening. Tonight, we're talking about Imago work here on Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment. I am your illustrious host, Stacy.
Emphasis on lust. This is Aaron Howell from Heavy Mental Coaching.
And it's Heather.
Nice.
From
See you
Heather
in a
Mental
minute.
Coaching.
That's I'm not even kidding. Like I always say that. Like, oh, I just need to get to know them and I'll be over it. Awesome. Good job, buddy.
Good show.
Thing. 3.5 million kids won't receive a diploma over the next 4 years. United Way knows that kids who have a caring adult in their life are more likely to make it. And the difference between a dropout and a graduate could be you. Take the pledge to volunteer now at unitedway.org. Brought to you by the United Way, the Ad Council, and WCAS Radio. WCAS cares when it
Is that a
counts.
good thing?
She's got you.
Did you know that of the 8 million
Ty
dogs
was
and
just
cats that enter
if they
shelters
get
each
drunk
year,
together,
almost
like, I
half of
guess
them are
Ty
euthanized
would just, like,
because they're
half
not
passed
adopted.
out, like,
And the truth
blacked out.
is, there's nothing
They'll just,
wrong
like,
with these pets.
grab onto
Those
them
good dogs and
and
cats.
just go,
Most of them
like,
will end up in
sham.
shelters due to
They're, like, slapping
the
them.
have no control over. So if you want a pet, adopt.
That was something I hadn't really had like a great for alcohol until driving the other day. I mean, I guess, the
Kids spend a lot of time on all sorts of ridiculous things. They'll spend ages watching funny online videos or 197 straight minutes playing a video game about alien picnics, which means they can spend 2 minutes just twice a day brushing their teeth. Tooth decay is the single most common chronic childhood disease. That's why brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. To find out more, visit 2min2x.org. 2 minutes, twice a day, they have the time. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, the Ad Council, and WCAS Radio.
Oh, I get it.
Kids spend a lot of time on all sorts of
That's a
ridiculous
trigger.
They spend ages watching funny
I can
online
dig it.
videos or 197 straight minutes playing a video game about alien picnics, which means they can spend 2 minutes twice a day brushing their teeth. Tooth decay is the single most common chronic childhood disease. That's why brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. To find out more, visit 2min2x.org. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council, by WCAS Radio.
Oh, I got it. When we're done, I want to tell you
A
about
single
some
ember that escapes from a
interesting
wildfire can
developments
travel
in
over a
my
mile,
avoidance.
carrying a world of trouble.
Interesting developments.
It can land, ignite, and destroy your
We'll
home
talk
and
about it
community.
after I get. As
The
I want
simple
to talk about
steps
it
to adapt to wildfire, like cleaning areas around buildings, knowing community safe zones, you help protect your home and community from wildfire damage. But becoming fire adapted is more than one person can take on alone. It takes a community to protect a home. Visit fireadapted.org today for more ways to help protect your home and community from wildfire. A public service message from the U.S. Forest Service, the Ad Council, and from WCAS Radio.
If you could change the history of an illness, would you? 21 years ago, there were only 187 identified pulmonary hypertension patients in the United States. Typically young women in their childbearing years. There were no treatments. Today,
just send it
there
to
are
you so you
6
can put it on.
FDA-approved treatments helping over 30,000 patients, with researchers working hard to change the history of pulmonary hypertension. Learn more at www.phassociation.org. Phenomenal hope, looking to a phenomenal cure.
To infinity and beyond.
Such a cute picture.
I need to see it again.
Oh, I'm putting that on my heavy mental coaching.
Okay, I have to find it.
So none of you guys have ever acted like a psycho like I did?
Oh, okay. I'm embarrassed to even share some of my darker relationship moments. I don't even want to weigh in on it. Honestly, I had some dark periods in my life.
Heather probably hasn't ever acted like a psycho.
Only one time. I think I told you about it, but this was like in college when but it got bad really fast because we were out drinking and getting schnockered, and it was just like a drunken fight, and he pushed me up against the wall, and I was like, ew, this stops right now. I was like, get the F out of my house.
Gear down, big shifter.
That's right. I was like this, and that was literally that was the last day that I talked to him.
I have
that
one.
was a long relationship. Well, but he was like, okay, why? And he was in the bathroom puking, and he slipped off the toilet and hit his head. And I just was like, yeah, that's what you get. That's karma. And I just laughed.
Okay, I have one that's not particularly dark. It's actually really funny. My ex-wife and I, we were pretty gnarly, and a thing that would keep coming up, there was a lot of stuff about money, and not even just money, it was just the idea that she would try and derail my plans for stuff.
Okay.
And which drove me up the wall. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I I would feel a lot of the time like she was an obstacle.
Well, and I wonder if,
Or a
you know,
hindrance.
on her Imago, if that was the way that she dealt with things. Like if somebody, you know, if I'm feeling angry or frustrated or invalidated or whatever, that maybe she would hijack somebody's plans when
Well,
she was grown up.
she did. I remember she told me that when she was a kid, her dad was watching a basketball game and wasn't paying attention to her. She went out and keyed his car when she was a little
Oh my God.
Yeah, when she was a little kid. When she was a little kid.
Wow.
Oh my.
So yeah,
Wow.
she was a fun woman.
It ran.
No, but we had one time we were driving home and I had a stack of cash because I was working at the 1-Up at the time and I was making a lot of money. And I had this stack of cash and I had plans for it. I had plans like, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to take care of the band fund. You know, I'm going to do some stuff, some band stuff with it. I had plans for it. All right. And she, as soon as she would see that I had money, she would be like, you know, you should help me with this and you should help me with that and you should help me with this and da 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 and I need it and I need it and da 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 da. And we're driving and she's like trying to talk me out of my money. Basically, she's trying to get my money out of me.
Although I will have to say, and it took me a long time to like really get to this because I was like a me and my thing. You know what I mean? But if you're married, it's kind of your both money, right?
Right, but she
But yeah.
didn't.
I get it.
I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
But
yeah.
so I
It
was
should
just
be.
like,
If you were with somebody healthy, that I would hope that you guys.
I
would
just felt that at the time I felt that she was a drain and a hindrance and that she was getting in my way.
And I'm sure she was.
And so we're fighting and we're fighting and we're fighting and her window is open.
Oh, I knew it.
I threw the handful of cash at her and I swear I saw it go flying out the window. And I'm talking like $600 that I just threw at her. And I swear I saw it go out the window. It definitely got caught in the breeze and she looked at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? And so we pulled over and we just walked up and down Wadsworth trying to find the money. And I felt really stupid. And I was just embarrassed. And she's, you know.
You're such a dummy. I can't believe you threw that at me.
And then we get into the car and it had all just like fallen to the side.
Oh,
and so then I'm so embarrassed and I feel stupid. I'm like, here, take it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So that'll tell you a little bit about my Imago.
Oh, yeah. And it's like when you're just frustrated, you just like give up.
Yeah. I give up or I throw a fit and then I feel bad. We had a very predictable relationship. Now, so this is
By the way,
me to my
we're talking about Imago.
Yeah, we're talking about
tonight.
Imago
And,
workups.
what are we working on next?
So what we're talking about now is we've been talking about mining previous relationships for information to help understand. So you can take all of these significant relationships and you can begin to notice patterns. You can begin to notice common frustrations, the common feelings that those frustrations cause, the common thoughts associated with those, the common reactions to those, the common fears, and then you add in the desire that you have to cease that fear from that frustration. And beginning to understand this, it allows you to effectively communicate these things to your partner. So let me give an example.
Okay. And by the way, I know we're going through this really quickly tonight, and this is a lot of information. So if you want to work one up on your own, which I think everyone should, I mean, it's valuable information.
Yeah, I think so too.
You guys should either check out his Facebook page, Heavy Mental Coaching, or shoot an email to heavymentalcoaching@gmail.com.
And I would recommend, you know, even if it's not me, I think everyone should have a coach personally. And we'll talk about that on another episode about the value of coaching. But I really do believe that everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs someone to keep them on task. And I'm taking clients.
Nice.
So shoot me an email, heavymentalcoaching@gmail.com.
Cool.
Okay. So let's say that a common frustration that goes across all of my relationships would be maybe stonewalling and grudge holding.
Okay.
Okay. That is something that shows up in a lot of my previous partners.
Okay.
Okay. So then the feeling associated with that is feelings of hurt or frustration or anxiety or fear,
They stonewall
sadness,
you.
shame, if they stonewall me, you know, I want to resolve things, you know, or I want to work it out. So then the thoughts associated with that is just talk to me, you know, let's make up, let's work through it.
Anxious avoidance?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the reaction to that is bargaining, ass kissing, begging, yelling, sulking, you know, doing whatever I can
Protest
to
behavior.
protest behavior, right? The fear is that, you know, she'll leave me, she'll stop loving me, you know, or that she's never going to talk to me again or something like that. Now, then the addition that comes in at the end of this exercise is adding in the desire that you want, so that you can communicate that with your partner, which basically my desired outcome in that is to open up communication, to be able to work out forgiveness, to be able to learn and move forward. So I really recommend this book. It's an old book.
It is.
It's from the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, but Harville Hendricks is a genius, really.
Yeah, he's really great. Oh, which brings us to this article you have brought up, correct?
Yeah. Do you want me to go through it?
Do it.
Okay, so
Do it up.
Harville Hendricks.
We're on communication.
Okay, so and hold on, I'm going to share this also on our on. Let's see, is it sharing? Yeah. Okay. Wait. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is sharing on our YouTube page right now, and it's 4 Steps to Healthy Communication by Dr. Harville Hendricks, PhD. And you know, this is on Oprah.com. The mama, the big mama. I love Oprah.
I know you do.
I just think she's pretty fantastic. And I don't mean because she has a talk show. I mean, I just think that she's a very insightful person, and I don't think that there's a bigger media person that has tried to bring insightfulness into the general public more than she has.
If you were to know, what would be the 3 most the attributes of Oprah you admire the most? If you were to know.
Okay, her generosity.
Okay.
And I don't just mean with money, I mean with the knowledge that she has, that she wants to share it with other people.
Okay.
That she is a teacher. You know, that I believe that even if she isn't doing the teaching, that she brings, you know, Harville Hendricks onto her, you know, website or onto her show or whatever, and shares that knowledge. And I also think her curiosity. You don't have a show for 25 years every day without being a curious person.
Now you know why you admire those things.
Probably
right?
because they're about myself.
Because you've disowned them in yourself.
And yeah, because I wouldn't think of myself as too
Perception is projection.
Yeah. Okay. So according to marriage therapist Harville Hendricks, there are 3 basic steps to achieving healthy communication, including an extra gift that will really strengthen your dialogue with your partner. So he's talking about the Imago technique that we've gone through tonight. So couples are able to create stronger relationships by first becoming more aware of how deeply interconnected you are. So, and that's what we've been working on tonight. So by offering you a change to recognize the unconscious agenda each partner brings to the relationship, both of you can grow together in a creative, non-controlling, and healing way based on understanding each other's wants and needs, which I think is the most beautiful part of this, when you can just go, you know what? I need validation right now. I need whatever that thing is. I need your time. I need your whatever that thing is, your affection, and recognize that instead of throwing a fit or shutting off or whatever.
Just think of how many fights you could slow down or end completely just by both of you being able to recognize, oh, this is how we're jacked up.
Right.
You know?
Oh, wait, this is exactly the way we trigger each other.
Oh, I'm doing my thing. You're doing your thing. Isn't that funny?
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Okay.
Right.
Let's remember what we need to get that moving along.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but when you make that recognition, that's all prefrontal cortex stuff. So it takes you out of that amygdala that you're freaking your face off. Yeah. Yeah. Because when you're in your amygdala, that's a shit show.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
and that's like why you come out and you can't even remember what you were mad about.
Speaking of amygdala, and I know I'm sidetracked right now, but this was fascinating information. And I sent this article to you. Oxytocin they're not just finding that it's the love drug, because it's the bonding thing,
Yep.
or bonding hormone. They're actually finding it's more about memory than it is about love. So if you have not so much of a good relationship with your mom, when you are exposed to oxytocin, you might feel abandoned, or you might feel angry or anxious instead of love. So it's not necessarily about love and connectedness. That's for people that felt love and connectedness with their mother. It's more about memory of that relationship that you had with your primary caregiver. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So step 1 is mirroring, how to listen to your partner without distorting his thoughts or feelings. So he says the first step of an intentional dialogue is to mirror your partner and let him be heard without judgment. So tell your partner the message you would like them to hear. So the message should start with I and describe your feelings. So I feel hurt when you talk down to me. Okay. And I would even extend that with, because sometimes, you could say, when you talk down to me, that's a perception that people might have. I remember when I was a server and people would, and my, fellow employees, fellow wait staff would say, I hate how people talk down to us all the time. And I had never felt that way. And I think because they were servers, they automatically, and they would tell me, people think that we're lesser than them because we're servers. And I'm like, I don't get that.
No.
I don't think that people feel that way. And ergo, even if somebody was, I never once did I ever feel, and I worked at Juanita's on 17th and Vine. Do you remember that place? So I waited on thousands of people. I never felt that way. So I think that I might almost change that to, I feel hurt when I feel like you're talking down to me.
Or like,
yeah.
I feel hurt when I perceive that you're talking down to
Yeah.
me, or when it seems to me
that you're talking down to me. Because that way I take ownership of my perception of it.
Right.
Okay. So your partner then mirrors your message. So if I got it right, you feel hurt when I talk down to you. Did I get that? And then if you feel your partner didn't understand your message, explain it again and talk down to him. No, I'm just kidding.
Draw him an effing picture.
Yeah.
Get out the crayons.
If you feel your partner didn't understand your message, explain again and have him mirror until your message is received. Complete the message. If you were heard accurately, your partner says, is there more about that? This helps you complete your feelings and prevents your partner from responding to incomplete messages. So when the message is completed, your partner then summarizes all of the message. Let me see if I got that. He should check for accuracy. Did I get it all? When your message has been heard accurately, you can move to the next step. Okay, got it?
That's a good exercise.
Okay,
I like it.
I do too. And then we'll go on to the next one. But
I would like to say, real quick, that one of the interesting things about my Imago, and this might come from my dad, is any women that I'm attracted to, generally speaking, wouldn't want to participate in
any of this type
of
no,
stuff.
no, and me
Isn't
too.
that interesting?
No, and I'm well, because they're avoidant, and
Right.
so actually, I tried this with someone that that I was interacting with, and they were like, "Why do you need validation? Why? What is wrong with you that you need to be heard?"
Or they just kind of roll their eyes and they go,
Right.
like my mom would say about my dad, she'd go, your father is very bound to this world. Like, just like, he's a very, very practical, very
grounded,
very grounded guy.
Okay.
Very grounded guy.
My mom is too. I call her Dream Crusher. No, I'm just kidding. But sometimes she is. No, I mean, sometimes my mom is a person when I come up with like one of my brainy ideas, that my mom like starts telling me how that's not going to work. And because she's so grounded, or like, have you thought about this or thought about that? Nope. And I don't want to.
See, my dad just goes, that's nice. Like, he's just like, okay.
Spooky spook. Yeah.
He's like, I'm really trying, son. But that just, okay.
That's so great. Step 2, validating why it's not just enough to listen to your partner. It's not just enough to listen, and you must learn to pay close attention in order to understand your partner's truth. It's not enough just to be heard. It's, do you see that I'm not crazy? Okay, that's another thing, is that the people I date, they would always say, I think you're bipolar. And I'm like, okay, so I'm only bipolar with you. I mean, let's just point this out. I can go through the rest of my whole life not bipolar, just with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if I told you this, but my lady friend, we'll just say lady friend.
Okay.
My lady friend,
Uh-huh.
my female acquaintance,
Mm-hmm.
my very close, loving female acquaintance.
I don't know.
She
Okay.
She set me right actually once, and was just like, you know what, I'm not one of your projects. I'm not one of your projects, and I'm not one of your clients. And she's like, you need to stop turning every interaction into a coaching session. I'm not damaged goods. We're not all the same. And I went, point taken.
Point taken.
I apologize.
Yeah.
And that to me didn't seem like avoidant, unhealthy.
No.
That was enforcing a boundary and going, you're not my coach.
Right. I get it.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Although I also think that it could be setting it up so that you never have to work on the bigger relationship issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the same time, no, it's like, I can understand the frustration there of having, someone constantly going, what's wrong? What's the matter? Nothing's wrong with me. This is how I am, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, I think we need to be mindful of holding our partners to our own standards, our own criteria.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay, so let's go into the validating exercise. Your partner does not have to agree with your argument to validate it. In order to validate your message, he needs to use the right language. He should use sentences like this: you make sense because, or I can see what you're saying. Using the phrase makes sense may be helpful. It tells you that your partner doesn't think your feelings are crazy. And your partner must make certain that you feel validated before moving on. If you do, move on to the next step. And one of the best things I love that Oprah says often is what validation is. She defines it as, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me.
Right.
And that just is a really succinct, that's another thing that I really like about her too. And actually I like this about myself. I can admit this. I could take these big conceptual things, like I read a book about, attachment, that people have with each other. And I can wrap it up succinctly so that it can be packaged quickly for somebody that I'm talking to, so that they don't necessarily have to read that book right then.
Right.
That they can go, I can identify that behavior in myself, and I'm interested in learning more about that. But thanks for the Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
Like this.
You can give a synopsis,
And
broad strokes.
like this right here. That on Oprah.com we have the down and dirty about, this Harville Hendricks stuff.
I like that validation exercise.
Yeah.
That's good.
Excellent. The next one is put yourself in his shoes. Okay, so once the feeling is empathizing, so once the feeling is expressed, it's time to put yourself in your partner's shoes. And this is something I think a lot of people get wrong with empathy, that they feel like you need to see something, like understand how somebody feels. And really what empathy is, and Dr. Heath talked about this in class, you need to see how they could see how they feel.
Yep.
So, like walk a mile in their shoes, theoretically, see the world through their eyes. And so once a feeling is expressed, it's time to put yourself in your partner's shoes. The next big step in the dialoguing process is for your partner to empathize with your expressed feelings. Figure out the feeling and go to that place with him or her. Step into that place with them, and they will know you exist for them in that moment. That is a connection. So an empathy exercise is, your partner can start the empathy exercise by statement like, I can imagine that you might be feeling, or I can see that you are feeling. Since it's impossible to know exactly what a person feels, your partner should check for accuracy. He should ask, is that what you're feeling? If he didn't understand the feeling, you should readdress the message. And then if you share new feelings with your partner upon reiteration, he must mirror those feelings. So for example, is there something more about that feeling? Once your partner has gone through these steps, an extra gift helps solidify the discussion. You know, I love gifts. I just love presents. They're so great.
And you get a car, and you get a car.
And you get a car, and we're all going to Australia. Right?
I've seen the show.
Giving the gift. It's time to ask your partner for a small positive request. What is it that you want that you're not getting? So Hendrick suggests that the best way to transform something painful is by giving your partner a behavior change request in the form of a gift. He says instead of beating your partner up about it, translate the frustration into your wish. So the gift exercise. Start by asking something as simple as, right now, can I make a request? So for example, can you come hug me? Or can you say a kind word for me? And your partner should comply, otherwise they're a douche. And keep working at giving each other gifts until a shift occurs and you can see your partner without judgment. So once couples can rely on these gifts, the safety arena will go up and the defensive barriers go down. So when you are finished with your intentional dialogue reversal roles, you are now the receiver of your partner's feelings, and you should start with a mirroring exercise. And with practice, you and your partner can continue to create the marriage of your dreams.
I like this a lot.
I like it a lot.
I like this
too.
a lot. Now, I will say, Stacy, that you and I tend to be attracted to avoidance.
Agreed.
And that's okay. And really hardcore avoidance are going to be very likely to kind of roll their eyes and go, I don't want to deal with this heavy bullspit. Good call. Bull spit. I like that. That is good. I never thought about spit. I always say ship, but I kind of like spit better. Oh, Schmidt.
I like it. Yeah, no, and you're right. The nature of them, they're not even capable. They don't even want to do this. I mean, there's.
Well, I mean, now that's not necessarily true. I would say that with the avoidance that I know and have loved, and I've loved many of them, they tend to want to do this type of stuff on their own.
Okay.
They tend to want to do it on their own time. They tend to want to. They tend to want to go it alone. They tend to not want to be vulnerable. In front of someone else.
No, I get that.
Or find it or find the same information through another means that you do not suggest to them.
Right. Although
through another method, they go, I just got it from something else.
No, typically though that they don't want to do that. I mean, honestly, a true avoidant doesn't want to do this kind of work because it means getting closer to the other person, and that is exactly what they do not want to do.
Right.
And and they will do it if they see you are about to leave.
Right.
Once.
Look what I did.
They'll do it once and then act like they gave you a kidney. Hey, you know what? Tonight we're talking about Imago work here on Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment. Erin Howell, a life coach and who has heavy mental coaching, has been walking us through all of this riveting information.
Which I am not an expert on.
No, you know what though? I don't think it takes necessarily though an expert to have somebody help you walk through this information.
Right.
Do you? And Heather of Heather.
Yeah, of Heather.
Of heavy mental coaching.
Heavy mental coaching. And I'm Stacy, and you are listening to Social Penetration Radio. We're going to be right back.
Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment.
Cool,
it's
man.
on WCAS.
I think
Radio,
probably the next thing to do,
Yeah.
since I've been trying to keep what's known as, you know what the format is?
Did you know that nearly
For the
49
number 4,
million
MAT
Americans
format.
struggle with hunger?
Just
That's
to cater
one
to the
out of
different
every
ways people
6
learn.
people.
Do why,
They're
what,
around us
how,
every day.
and then
There are
probably the rest of the
friends.
time we should
There are
unpack it.
coworkers.
Just what if?
Their kids
Just,
go to school with
what
our
questions do you
kids.
have? What did you learn? What do I need to
Sometimes
know?
we're not
Okay.
even aware that they're
So,
struggling.
I
do
want
you
to
guys
hear.
want
This
to
problem
play
is closer
with
than
that
you
thing
think.
before we
But
go?
so
Then
is
Oh,
the
yeah,
solution.
yeah.
Visit
That-
feedingamerica.org today
And
find your local food bank for ways to help.
about what I want to do.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for those around
Well,
you
we're gonna do
struggling with
Heather,
hunger.
Okay.
Together,
Okay.
we're
I thought we were
feeding
going to do all
America.
3, but since you
A public
know,
service announcement
just
from
doing
Feeding America
I think
and
that sounds
Yeah, me and
WCAS
Stacey are
Radio.
both gonna do you on the air.
again.
What was your favorite book as a child? What was it about the book that made it so memorable? Books can spark a lifetime of ambition, and that starts with regular reading. We're calling upon everyone to unite as book people.
Oh,
And
you know what?
realize
There are
the
2
love
things
of reading.
that
Book People Unite is the start of a
Meredith
movement to
did.
help more children
You know,
develop a
she made
passion
it
for
so that
books
we
and
could,
learning.
because I was
Help
giving her
ignite a
shit
reading
about, like,
renaissance in America
man,
and join us as book persons
one
by visiting
absence in the entire
bookpeopleunite.org.
semester is
A
all
public
we're
service announcement brought to you by the Library of Congress. Reading is fundamental, and
You know
by
what I mean?
WCAS Radio.
Yeah, right.
Saving money
Or
today
no,
is
I
like
mean,
giving
you're
a
like
gift to yourself.
legitimately in
A little
34
money from each
classes.
paycheck can go a long way, and you'll need
So
those
she
savings
made
set
it so
aside to
that
do some
on
cool
this-
stuff in the
I'm gonna
future.
say Enneagram
Yeah, it's
1.
hard,
That's
but you know it's the right thing to do.
My
Take
cravings
control
and
of your
addictions.
finances and make
teacher that
savings a
came in
part of
here,
your daily life.
And
Put away a
um,
few bucks, feel like $1 million.
I was like,
For free ways to
out of
save, go to
34 classes in a
feedthepig.org or
semester,
visit Feed the Pig on Facebook.
And
This
if you
message
miss
brought to you by the
2,
American
your
Institute of
whole grade
Certified
goes
Public
down 3
Accountants,
points.
the Ad
Not your
Council,
attendance
and by
grade, your
WCAS
whole
Radio.
grade. So I'm like, but so she made it so on
Saving money today is
Facebook
like
that
giving
you
a
could
gift
do
to
5
your
posts,
future.
and that
A
would give
little
us
money
another
from each
excuse
paycheck
absence.
can go a
And then
long way,
yesterday
and you
I
need those
missed,
savings
and
set
she
aside
didn't
to
take
do cool
attendance
stuff in
at
the future. I was able to buy an amazing concert because I was able to take care of it. Yeah, it's hard, but you know, it's the right thing to do. Take control of your finances and make the savings a part of your daily life. Buy that car that you've been dreaming about life. Put away a few bucks and feel like $1 million. 3 ways to save. Go to feedthepig.org.
Like here, I can miss 4, and I'm
This
on
message
fucking
brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the Ad Council, and WCAS Radio.
WCAS.
I'm a little tired.
I am too.
I'm super tired.
I've been riding really hard, you know, because I'm training for that bike ride.
Oh, you are?
So I rode from Three Kings to Leetsdale in Quebec.
Okay.
And then I rode from there to 5 Points today. And then from home to here. From 5 Points to
Whoa.
here.
You are riding your
Yeah,
ass
I'm
off.
riding hard.
Yeah, we're back on.
I'm gonna be all super fit and sexy.
Nice.
Good
You
looking.
already are fit.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So for those of you who've been listening, we've been doing some brief Imago workups tonight. I'm Aaron Howell from Heavy Mental Coaching.
I'm Stacey McDonald at Social Penetration Radio.
And I am Heather.
Social Penetration Radio.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what questions you have. What did you learn? What do I need to know? For those of you out there listening, you can hit us up on the Social Penetration Facebook.
Mhm.
You can hit me up on the Heavy Mental Coaching Facebook, or you can send an email to heavymentalcoaching@gmail.com.
Yep.
And then you too. Heather,
Yes.
Heather, what did you learn? What questions did you have? What do I need to know?
So I think going through the exercise, I see patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I see patterns in the relationships, and not only in like the intimate relationships, but like the relationships I build with friends.
Uh-huh.
And I could never kind of figure them out. And it kind of brought light to it. It definitely brought light to them. Like,
It's interesting to have it on a piece of paper. Right
it
in
is.
front of
It's
you.
like I always knew that it sort of existed, like in my brain, like why it was happening, but to actually see it on a piece of paper, it makes it reality. I know that it's reality because I act on it.
Well, and awareness in and of itself is transformative.
Yeah.
We cannot do something that does not serve us and do it with conscious awareness,
Right.
with true conscious awareness.
Well, but the other thing is like, I'm probably not going to change like my reactions to those relationships. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I see a relationship going the same way, I'm going to give that person a second chance. And then if it goes the same way, I'm going to cut them out of my life.
See, and I'm more apt to go, okay, because honestly, when I look at myself at my worst, me personally, what I do at my worst is shut off
Yeah.
or figure out a way around somebody telling me no.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at that. I mean, honestly, that one is, it's like, okay, what do I need to get that done? Oh, somebody told me no. Like, that's one thing you'll find, or I find here at school. I don't ask if I can do a bunch of stuff because I don't want to have to work around them telling me no.
Sure.
So I'd rather just do it and
And
see
then ask
if they,
Yeah.
ask for forgiveness.
Right,
Right.
rather than permission.
yeah, and or the thing where I try to do something, you know, perfectly, or
Sure.
you know, present myself in, you know, like a perfect, because I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist, but I have a pretty high standard for just operating in the world, if that makes sense. So it's not like my house is perfectly clean and my
Right.
dog is perfectly trained, or my car is, you know.
I'm going to make up a word.
Yeah.
A profensorist.
What the hell
What
is
does
that?
that even
Like
mean?
an arist of preferences. Like I'm a preference-arist.
Like an aristocrat?
Well, like not being a perfectionist, like things don't have to be perfect, but I will do anything I possibly can to have my preferences met.
That's
A
true.
profensorist.
Yeah, there you go.
Because
There you go.
because like, let's just say I actually have a girlfriend that must have the same thing, because we were going camping one time down in Santa Fe, and there was a campground that I like to go to because I can have water hookups and power hookups, and I don't have to like worry about it. And she had already booked a campground somewhere else, but just across the street. And I'm like, oh yeah, we'll be right across the street from each other. No big deal. And she's like, okay, I really just want you to be across the campground. Like, I want you to be at my same campground. I get it that it will be, you know, 20 yards apart or 500 yards apart. I get it. I just want you to be 20 yards apart. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, no big deal. But that was her preference. You know what I mean? And in her mind, yeah. And I didn't really care one way or the other.
It's tough to ask for our preferences.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it's like there's a whole thing with boundaries, which is not necessarily like, there's people who would say that boundaries are exclusively what we cannot allow, but it's also what, you know, it's also what we must have, what we must have and what we cannot allow.
Right.
And I think that people worry that if they share their preferences, that they're going to hurt people's feelings or drive them away, or, you know, they're going to feel bad about, you know, just going, you know what, it's just, that just doesn't work.
You know what?
Like when we went to the cuddle party,
Yeah.
when we went to the cuddle party and there was the exercise and the orientation where it was telling people, you know, no, that doesn't work for me. That's not okay with me.
I'll give you an example. Like last week, just didn't work for me. Like last Wednesday, and I called Stace and I was like, listen, I have so much going on in my life right now. I'm super stressed out and it's just not going to work for me. Like, and I knew that she wouldn't be pissed off because like, it's important that I have to take care of myself, because if I don't, then I will just be a freaking
Well, and
maniac.
sometimes people are not going to be okay with it.
Right.
Yeah. You know,
well, that's exactly it. Like somebody was like, well, was your friend mad? And I'm like, no, she was happy that I called her and said, hey, listen, I have to have this, like, I have to call timeout. Like I can't do it. I have a guy that I Skype with every Wednesday afternoon.
70-year-old dude?
Yeah. And we Skype and we talk hypnosis and we talk coaching, and we kind of coach each other. And he's a really cool guy. And he's like types hugely detailed emails. Like it can be a little to take on, since I'm such a big picture guy.
Yeah.
But you know, from time to time, I have been such a people pleaser that I am the type of person who would make excuses and blow smoke up people's asses. You know, be like, oh, something out of my control came up. And today, I shot him a message and I was just like, hey, you know what, man, I'm not going to be able to get together today. I stayed at my lady friend's last night and I want to take her to breakfast, you know?
Yep.
And I don't know what his actual emotional response was to it. He just said okay in the message, but sometimes people are not going to be okay with what we want to do. It doesn't work according to their plan, but I mean, you gotta do what you want to do. You gotta do what you want to do with your life.
There are two things though that I really hold sacred in this process of people telling me their preferences and honoring them. Number one, it's one of my favorite things that I like about myself as a friend is I want you guys to take care of you guys.
Right.
Like that is something that I really, because here's the thing, I love you guys, and when you're taking care of you and I'm not there, I know somebody's taking care of you.
Right.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, and this is something I've realized since I've quit drinking, I've talked about this a couple of times, is since I quit drinking, I realize I have a general fear that, oh my God, I have to take care of myself for the rest of my natural born life. It just seems like, oh my God, because I've done such a crappy job. I mean, I live in such a crappy neighborhood and I have, well, actually my dog's kind of crappy, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know, all my bills are paid and I go on nice vacations and, I'm here at school with you guys and you know what I mean? I've done all right. I'm not dead. Okay. I still have liver function. Bingo. Yeah. So I haven't done a crappy job, but it is a little overwhelming. And it's like a little bit of a relief to know that you guys take care of yourself so that I can take care of myself. And that if like the spit really hits the fan, that I know that I can jump in and help you because it's really something that you need. And I don't even mean spit hits the fan. Like you just have a little bit of a bigger thing that goes on, like moving. Moving is a little bit of a bigger thing than usual. You know what I mean?
I have a client who, which I actually just recently found out, he inherited some money and he is literally doing what he wants to do with his life. He's an executive chef at a really good restaurant that you would know. You would know who this guy was, and he's been talking to me about just like how much he works, and he just will not take a day off. And I got to talking to him, and I was like, so if you were to inherit all the money you'd ever need, if you were to win the lottery or something like that, how would you spend your time? And the idea was to get him to start thinking of like whether or not as much as he works is necessarily healthy for him. And he goes, oh, I've already done that. I have all the money I'll ever need. I work because I want to.
Okay.
And he still will not take time for himself. And what I've said to him is I'm like, look, if you can train someone to be able to steward the ship while you're not there, you will be able to walk away for a couple of days and come back and allow your unconscious to process all of those things that need to be integrated at the deepest unconscious level right now. You can process all of those things and then you can come back to work and you can be better at your job.
That's exactly it. Yeah. I think I think Stacey and I've talked about this. Like if you can't take a break from work and completely disconnect, then how can you recharge? Your battery can't
Or a break from anything.
Right. No, that's exactly it. Like if you cannot disconnect kind of just from, you're right, from anything, how can you recharge? How can you come up with new ideas? How can you you have to give your body and your mind a rest. And
you have to give time.
That's right.
You have to give time an opportunity, like literal time, an opportunity to express itself.
And when you don't do those things, you're not showing yourself that you love yourself.
Yeah, you're not showing respect for yourself.
That's right. Agreed.
So hey, let's close out by getting our Posy Buzz on.
No.
We're gonna roast a Posy Bone.
Okay, so what was it? Did he say 1 or 2 years, or what did he say?
Okay, so all right.
We can make up our own rules.
Okay, we'll just do this. We'll do this with the R Factor question.
Okay, so by the way, you're listening to Social Penetration tonight. Thank you so much, Erin, for doing all of this Imago work. This has been fan-freaking-tastic and helpful, and hopefully our listeners have been able to walk through this. But if not, they can contact you at heavymentalcoaching@gmail.com. And if you missed the beginning of the show, Andy Dooley called in, and he was
God, I love Andy Dooley.
God, I know. He's so great. I love the guy. He's so hilarious, too.
His energy just comes through
It's,
over the
yeah.
phone. And
Yeah, he's really fantastic. But he's a law of attraction guy. His website is andydooley.com and tut.com, which tut stands for Totally Unique Thoughts. And I really recommend that you go to tut.com and sign up for the Notes from the Universe. You get them in your email every morning,
Cool.
and they're very cool. I really dig them.
Very cool.
And but he said that he did this exercise at his workshop that he had last week, where it's a threesome, and the one person says the way that their dream life would be in 1 or 2 years.
we're gonna have a 3-way on the
Okay, a 3-way, and that's
Oh,
what he
yeah.
called it, a 3-way.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, baby. And he said then the other two people that okay, so Heather's going to tell us which ones would like in 2 or 3 or 1 to 2 years,
okay.
whatever. And Erin and I are going to talk about her in the third person about that life.
Which, by the way, when I am working out a goal, when I'm working things out, I will oftentimes imagine other people talking about me when I'm not there.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Aaron's up to? Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. So this is really cool. All right.
That reminds
so,
me of the song "Have You Seen Me Lately" by the Counting Crows. But
Oh,
it's, yeah,
she's a Counting
but
Crows
it's just I am a huge. That's my favorite band.
I love the Counting
I love them.
Okay, so we'll set it up with the R factor question.
Okay.
Which is okay. So Heather,
Yes.
if you and I were to sit down 3 years from now
Okay.
and looking back over that time
Mm-hmm.
up to the end of that 3 years, what would have to have happened in order for you to feel totally satisfied and happy with your progress?
This is what I think. I think that we're going to have that discussion. She's just saying what her picture is in 3
Well, yeah,
years.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. She's going to tell me what has happened over that time.
Oh no. But what I think is that she is supposed to just say what her vision is, and that we're going to talk about things that have happened over that time.
I would okay, now here's my only issue with that is because then we're installing procedural things.
Okay.
Now if what we're wanting to do here, I think what the intention is, and I could be wrong.
No.
And if I am wrong, Andy, you let me know.
Okay.
What I think we're doing is we're just mirroring back the vision, we're mirroring back the outcome.
Okay.
So
And that's what I think we're doing too, is mirroring the outcome. Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So what would have to have happened over that time for you to be
So the past 3 years, what would I have been
So
doing?
if we were to
Yeah.
get together 3 years from now,
Yeah.
what would have to have happened over that time for you to feel totally satisfied and happy with your progress?
Sure. I would have had to open my own business, and it would be I would have, first of all, I probably would have moved. Chances are I would be living in Montana along a awesome creek or stream or river or something in this beautiful house that I built with the help of my brother and my dad, and I already have like in my brain like what the house looks like. And I have my own business, and it's like an outdoor business. So it encompasses fly fishing, it encompasses backpacking, it encompasses basically anything outdoor adventure.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So Stacy,
Yeah.
so I just heard from Heather recently.
I miss her.
Oh, I miss her too. She was
But
so
you know
much
what?
fun to
She's-
have on the show.
And not only that, but she's so cool about us coming to her house all the time.
I know. Oh,
Right on.
yeah. The house, God, how long did it take her and her dad and her brother to build that house?
Like 8 months. That was crazy.
They got it up so fast.
It's so beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Oh
How's
my
her
God.
business doing?
Baller.
Yeah?
Oh my
Is
God.
she still doing like the fly fishing, the outdoor, like
Her
the outdoorsy
business
thing?
is so busy that she has like 6 people that work for her. She gets to bitch throws a fly fishing rod off of her deck and catches fish all
That's
day.
so cool.
Yeah. But
Because she's got
she is
that
busy.
creek right next to her place.
She has, you know what though? The reason that her business is so like overwhelmingly doing so great is people love her. People adore her.
Where's she
So-
at? She's out in Montana,
She's
right?
in Montana. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
In Bozeman.
Oh my God,
I
she
don't know.
loves it. It's
Somewhere by
beautiful.
Bozeman. I don't know. Montana, big sky.
Big sky.
Big sky, Montana.
So let me get this straight. So
Oh.
she's got a house that she built with her family, with her brother and her dad,
With some cows.
right next to a creek. She's got cattle on her property.
Yeah.
She's running
She
her
has
own
one cow
business.
she
She's
likes.
teaching people to fly fish. Man, God, that is just like
I know.
the absolute dreamland.
Last
man.
time when I was there, I was like in my spare bedroom that was all my own. And it had like, these big vaulted ceilings that were
that's
so
so cool.
beautiful and open. And I just left the window open and I had my own water feature.
Look at the color shift on her face.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah.
It was, and her dad and brother, she said that the whole process of building that house was so easy that everybody just was in complete alignment.
Yeah, I hear, from what I understand, she told me that opening the business itself was totally easy and effortless.
Yeah.
It was like, in fact, she said it was one of the easiest things she's ever done.
Well, no,
it just,
yeah.
it just, when you're doing what you're really passionate about, just things just seem to flow from start to finish. She said she enjoyed every minute of it.
People love the crap out of her.
Yeah,
Up there.
like she was totally free from stress and worry, and just was in a state of flow the entire time she was doing it. It was really incredible.
Really incredible.
It was, you could hear her lighting up when
Yep.
she was talking about it.
Yep.
It was amazing.
I love it how she still calls in though and it's still on our show.
I know.
That's so generous of her.
Hey, there's a fine line between elicitation and installation, Stacy.
I just
That is
did
not
my
ecological.
installation. I just did my installation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait till she has me back up there. It's gonna be great.
I know. It's beautiful. It's been a while since I've been to Montana, and man, just the pictures I've seen of the place, it is just absolutely breathtaking.
We could take my plane up there. It's all good.
Cool.
Okay. Right on.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That doesn't sound like a bad. That does not sound bad.
Are
at
you
all.
high as a kite or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that must create a dopamine surge.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude, we just blazed a positive.
Because honestly, blazed a positive.
Yeah, we just blazed a positive.
Because here's the thing that I've been sort of, grappling with, now that the weather's nicer, and I have this big correlation with just getting spit housed.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, it's nice out. And plus, Aaron, you've never been to my house, but
But I've been to Park Hill before.
yeah, well, and my front porch and my backyard are just, they say drink beer.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a beer fridge in the backyard, and then I have a cooler on the front porch that still has beers in it from last year. You know what I mean?
You know what? And last summer, because I quit in the wintertime. I quit in February.
Uh-huh.
And last summer, I was when I was in the muck of struggling with it.
Yeah.
I was very challenged by it, and I was pissed off. And I felt, I would get on Facebook or something like that, and I would just see all these guys from South Broadway, just, these like tattooed guys in shorts, just hanging out by the pool, getting wasted with all these hot chicks. And it was like, I was just like watching a beer commercial, and I was just like, oh, I hate it so much. And just my friends were talking about, oh, I was at Tui's last night. I got so wasted. I was at King's last night. Man, we partied our ass off. It was so fun. But then what ended up happening is over time, I began being sober and being kind of on the outside looking in and feeling a little isolated. I was able to see the reality of it.
Right.
I was able to see summer come to an end, and I was able to see people begin to show the cracks in that like really good time they were having. And I was beginning to see people just like, the other side of it, when people start running the counter script and they go, man, I need to stop drinking. I need to get it together. And just, oh, I fought with my girlfriend, or I got a DUI and I went to jail and all these different things. Not only, and now I see the same people and I see the same experience. And I just don't, they look like they're having fun. They really do. And that, I not that everybody I know is a wastoid, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, falling apart, and it's very funny to me. That's not necessarily going on. But I just don't identify it with it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not me anymore.
Yeah, and
I'm getting ready to go take this bike ride in May, and that's something that I would not have done last summer.
Right. Or I just signed up for yoga teacher training.
Yeah.
That is something that's moving in a direction that's a little bit different. It's funny also, the counselor that I see every week, we were talking about, what the reasons that the benefits of drinking and the consequences of drinking than the benefits of not drinking and the consequences of not drinking,
Yeah.
right? And one of the things, she was like, wow, the benefits of drinking sound like a beer commercial to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's like, you don't really strike me as somebody that's so vapid and soulless that you would just have the beer commercial.
And here's the thing. I had an internal beer commercial in my head.
Oh, I know what you mean.
You know, and then what I eventually had to conclude is that beer commercial was not the reality I was experiencing. I would be like, let's go out, let's get some blow, and let's do some shots, and let's drink a bunch of beers and party and high five and get laid, and it'll be great. And then what would end up happening is 2 hours later, I'd be passed out or embarrass myself in some way or black out or do something stupid and then feel like hell the next day. The beer commercial never actually happened.
Yeah, and I was the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, every once in a while it happens so that I keep chasing it, you know, where it's just oh no, oh no, it all turned out. I mean, of course, I passed out early, but, we went on this camping trip and we'd start drinking mimosas first thing in the morning. And then, I got to take a nap in the middle of the day and then we go to the spa all day and blah, blah, blah.
And the best parts probably had nothing to do with booze.
Correct.
Right.
As a matter of fact, those were the things that made the fun parts harder. It's like, oh, Jesus, I wish I would have remembered. How many concerts did I go to? I mean, speaking of Counting Crows, one year I went to go see the Counting Crows at Red Rocks for my birthday. It was on my birthday. I was so spit-housed by the time I got to Red Rocks, I was being carried out by my friends.
Right.
On the first song of the Counting Crows.
Right. I think of all the times that I blacked out and then just like pulled the ripcord on like a really awesome party or a really awesome event and just like left. And here's another thing that Dr. Bev brought up to me at our last session is she said, no matter who you are, no matter how much of a badass you are, alcohol severely diminishes your capacity of thought.
Oh, sure.
It doesn't matter who you are, and it doesn't matter how little or how much you drink. It severely diminishes your capacity.
Yeah, your cognition, done and done. You know what?
It's been a great show.
It has been a great show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You are listening to WCAS. Tonight we've talked about Imago work all night. Erin Howell, thank you so much.
Thank
Who's
you.
here every week, but
thanks,
heavymentalcoaching@gmail.com. Heather C's, you could stalk her on Facebook if you want.
Yeah.
And
Stacy just gave permission.
Yeah. And you're welcome. And I am Stacy McDonald, your host of Social Penetration. See you next week.
That was a good show.
For another scintillating episode of Social Penetration. We're here every Wednesday, 6 to 9 p.m. on WCAS Radio. See you next week.
I'm sore from riding so much.
Do you rode your bike here?
Okay, so in the past 24 hours, I rode from 5 Points to the Bluebird, from the Bluebird
I
to
don't
Three
know how
Kings.
many miles that is.
It's a lot.
A lot.
5 Points to the Bluebird to Three Kings to Leedsdale in Quebec, to 5 Points.
And what is this?
I am with a group of people. We're doing fixed gear bike ride from.
Bye. Peace out.
Good night. From